everybody, and welcome to Rook and Rasp Seriously, Let's Play. My name is Robert Turk. I am an author and game designer with Wicked Clever Games, and today we are playing one of my games that is coming soon to Kickstarter called Vale of the Failed and the Fallen. Before we begin, we're going to go around the table really quick and let our players, our fabulous players, introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump right in. So let's start with Tyr down there in the bottom corner.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tyr. Looking excited to play.
All right, we'll just go up and around the clock. So next is Autumn.
Hi, I'm Autumn Ingenue, and I'm also excited to be here.
We've got Kori.
All right. I think our cameras are a little bit ranged differently. I am Kori. Very excited to be here, as most everybody else is, too. Looking forward to playing this one to see what happens.
I think that leaves me. Hi, I'm Jamin. Happy to be here.
All right. That is everybody. And we're going to jump right in. I have an introduction to read. I've done my homework. All right. So this is Vale of the Failed and the Fallen. You were the chosen one. 20 years ago, the fate of the magical realm of Eidolon rested on your shoulders. But it wasn't even your world. You were outsiders, a group of would-be friends with spirit-bonded artifacts, and you were told to face down the ultimate evil. It was wonderful. It was magical. You were certain to save the day. But cryptic advisors, overwhelming pressure, and youthful idealism can only get you so far. You failed, and one of your friends died. But you were just kids. What did they really expect? Now, as adults, you're called again. You get a second chance to right the wrongs you couldn't before, to be the heroes your childhood selves needed you to be, that the whole realm needed you to be. But you're not the same as you were then. Now you know the price. Question is, are you still willing to pay it? So, this is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. We do a couple of different twists with the Powered by Apocalypse rules, but you will see that as it happens. One of the unique things about Vale is we create characters and the world at the same time together. This is our session 1, so everybody's world out there that they're playing will be different. You all get to create your own children's fantasy adventure realm. And we're going to do that right now. So we're going to go on a little story journey as we create the realm, as you all answer questions, as you create your characters. And then we're going to jump into, we're going to fast forward time and jump forward. But right now, you're all kids, okay? You're plucked from your childhoods on Earth and whisked away into the fantasy realm of Eidolon. Your adventures took you all over this fabulous land, complete with floating islands, mushroom forests, strange magics, mythical beasts, all of that. There's no modern technology here. There's no cell phones. There's no computers. There's no outlets to plug anything in. But there is magic. So that's pretty cool. We're going to have you answer some questions first as a group. And the first question you get to answer is, how did you all first enter the realm of Eidolon? And this is a multiple choice question. You can discuss the answers and come to a conclusion. These are your options here. There was an accidental ritual. You were playing a game or doing that, chanting in the mirror, or playing with a Ouija board or something like that, all right? There was a benevolent invitation. You might have gotten your letter to Hogwarts, so you followed a white rabbit down a hole. There might have been an accident that put you all in a coma or a near-death experience. It might have been a magical portal, like you walked through a wardrobe. It could have been nature's fury. You were caught in a tornado, right, like Dorothy, or a shipwreck. Or it could be a sinister abduction. You were taken by the forces of evil and brought to the realm intentionally. So did any of those jump out at everybody? And I should step back for a moment and say, as kids, you don't have to have known each other before you entered the magical realm. You can have known each other. If you all want to be from the same middle school, same high school, same town, you all want to be a family of orphans in World War II that walked through a magical wardrobe, all that is fine, but you don't have to. All right? You can be from all over the world, and you'll still get pulled in. So, accidental ritual, benevolent invitation, coma, near-death experience, magical porter, nature's fury, or sinister abduction. This is going to set y'all off right. So, anybody have any thoughts there?
Well, I have a question for the group. Like, how dark are we going here, or in the game in general?
I'm just
So-
thinking the same thing. There's a big
Alright.
difference between
Correct,
abduction
yeah.
and like
And that's part of sort of the setup, is you all getting to decide how dark you want to go. I will say, and I forgot to mention this beforehand, we will use an X card because this is a slightly darker game, right? Okay, you all failed as kids. We are building up to a crushing defeat here. Right now, we're happy and fun. It's gonna get dark. So on the stream, X card, you can just boom your hands up like that, or say X card out loud, especially if I'm not looking at you. I might not know you've done this. And what an X card means, I think everybody watching probably knows, but if you don't, or if you're playing and you don't, that means we stop, we back up, we go a different direction. There are two things in this game, however, that you cannot X card. They're baked into the premise of the game. One of your friends is going to die. All right. You as a player, as a character, do not have to be there when it happens. You don't have to have witnessed it. But somebody died on your first journey. That's not something we can X card out. The whole game will break down if we do. And two, there will be points in the game where we roll dice to see what happens to other parts of the world. All right. You can't X card that and say, oh, I really like those guys. I don't want them to be dead now. Right. It's you get to X card things that you're involved in, or things that make you uncomfortable about the narration. The dice rolls are the dice rolls. So, how dark do you all want this to be? There should always be a silver lining of hope, but it is kind of dark.
I'm really digging the sinister abduction.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm good with that.
All right, you all were taken by the forces of darkness and pulled in. All right, and the first time through, you actually had a mentor who originally set you up, pushed you to stand against the great evil. Who was that mentor? It could have been a confident royal. It could have been a desperate military commander. Could have been a mysterious mythic beast. A rebellious child of the vassal. A secretive spirit of the realm. Or a wise old mystic. So you all get sucked in by the forces of evil. And who helps you out right there at the beginning?
Oh. I mean, if we're all abducted, the rebellious child could also kind of play into that.
Rebellious child or the mystical beast. You know,
Yeah.
having a talking animal be like, hey, the bad guys just took you. Come with me and I'll help you. Sounds like a
Right.
great, I don't know.
Yeah.
But either could
those
work.
They could work. Okay. Tierra Autumn, what are your thoughts?
I feel like there's a combination there. I feel like it can be like a little, like Lampwick from Pinocchio is like a child donkey.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the mystic beast idea.
All right. What kind of beast do you want to go with? What kind of and when we say beast, it doesn't have to be like dog or cat. It could be dragon, right? This is a magical world.
Mhm.
So
Could be a horse.
could be a horse. Be a talking
It's a-
horse.
We could do a sphinx.
A sphinx? A
Sphinx.
sphinx is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Going with a sphinx. All right. And we are painting in a broad brush right now. There will be opportunities to flesh this stuff out. So as we're going through, one of the things to keep in mind is only answer the question that's being asked. There is a desire, I know, to really flesh out your characters and write this huge sweeping backstory. Part of Vale is discovering that as you play. There are moments in the game where you will flash back to your first adventure while you're sitting around the campfire telling stories, and that's when you get to dig in and uncover more things. So yeah, we're painting with a broad brush right now. What are some key magical features of Eidolon? You'll get to pick several to help shape your realm. I'm going to read off this list. It's a wordy list. All right. So if something pings and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, let's go with that. So some things that exist here, right? Key magical features. Hybrid animals, like that anime show where every animal's half this, half that. Nature spirits, magic crystals, emotional weather, wandering trees, talking tomes, unbreakable oaths, swirling portals, lingering ghosts, ancient technology, slumbering giants, annoying curses, words of power, goblin fruits, tradable memories, or watchful golems. And you can grab a couple of these, like even one
We
each.
gotta do the emotional weather.
Emotional
that's
weather.
a gimme.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. So this realm of Eidolon has emotional weather. Yep. What else jumped out to anybody?
Maybe lingering ghosts.
Lingering
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yeah.
That helps us make it a
My
little
sucker.
darker. Yep.
There were a couple at the beginning that I liked the idea of, but my short-term memory is already.
That's okay.
gone.
I'll read them off again. The ones you haven't picked: hybrid animals, nature spirits, magic crystals, wandering trees, talking tomes, unbreakable oaths, swirling portals, ancient technology, slumbering giants, annoying curses, words of power, goblin fruits, tradable memories, and watchful golems.
I like the idea of nature spirits.
All right. Separate from lingering ghosts, like you got the ghost of maybe the dead, but then you've also got the ghost of, or the spirits of trees and rocks and rivers. All right. Autumn, any of that jump out you want to add, or do you want to say nope, we're good with those three things? That shapes our realm.
I mean, everything's really going together really well, which makes me think that the portal might have something to add to this ghosty, naturey, dead things. You know,
All
like
right.
a yeah,
Okay.
onto a portal.
So I will circle swirling portals there. All right. There is another figure in this world, the vassal of the great evil. This is the big bad in the world. Horrible, evil embodiment of pure hatred and corruption. So this is the guy that's or girl or non-gender that serves the great evil. This is your ultimate foil in the game. All right. So normally in a game, a GM would set this up. You all actually get to build the bad guy too. So
Nice.
what is and you've already decided, right, that you got here because you were abducted by the forces of darkness, right? Pulled into this realm for who knows what nefarious purposes, right? I mean, kids are being kidnapped into a magical realm by something called the Great Evil, right? And rescued by a sphinx. That's already we're there. So the vassal has an ultimate goal. What is that vassal's ultimate goal? Again, it's multiple choice. Y'all get to pick. Is it to bring eternal night to Eidolon? Is it to conquer all the people and lands of Eidolon? Is it to corrupt and convert all life? Is it to destroy all magic? Or is it to summon the great evil down into a physical form? Eternal night, conquering like warlord, corrupting and converting, destroying all magic, or summoning the great evil?
I feel like the last one's the darkest by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we
Okay.
want to do dark, summoning a great evil
Yeah.
is the way to go.
All right. The vassal has soldiers. All right, has an army. Okay. What is this army made up of? Again, multiple choice. Are they the blighted, which are corrupted, decaying people? Are they elemental demons? Are they automatons, which could be magical or non-magical? Are they monstrous beasts? Or are they the undead? So, blighted, corrupted people, elemental demons, automatons, monstrous beasts, or undead abominations.
I kind of want to go with beasts. 'Cause that seems like it would play into our mentor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. And just like you got to define some touchstones, what are some magical features in the realm of Eidolon? You pick nature spirits, emotional weather, swirling porters, and lingering ghosts. You get to define some of the powers or the domains of the vassal. So again, this is a long list, and you're just going to pick a couple of these that you think, oh yeah, that fits what we're going for here. So they are witchcraft, thorns, serpents, shadows, blood, death, vermin, sickness, ice, bones, nightmares, fire, rage, poison, war, and fear. Any of those jump out as powers or domains of the vassal of evil, whose plan is to summon down the great evil, like bring it bad Jesus style here on Earth, or Eidolon.
Would be one.
What did you say here?
Nightmares.
Nightmares?
Yeah.
Nightmares is a good one to start with.
Yeah.
Fear.
Fear, okay. Anybody else? And you don't have to. You can say, nightmares and fears. This person is a master of those two things, and that's enough. I'll read off the list again just in case. We got witchcraft, thorns, serpents, shadows, blood, death, vermin, sickness, ice, bone, nightmares, fire, rage, poison, war, and fear.
I would throw rage in there.
I was getting ready to say that. Rage would go the opposite, would be the other side of the coin for fear. So yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you.
You want to go with those three? Nightmares, rage, and fear?
Yeah.
All right.
I was like,
The vassal bringing down evil, fighting alongside or commanding a legion of monstrous beasts, wielding the powers of nightmares, rage, and fear. You all get to... does anybody have a name? Anybody want to throw out a name or a title for the vassal? So, I mean, it could be a name like, that's Bob, or it could be like Zorgoth the Destroyer, like whatever you all want to go with. And I do this, GMs out there, because I hate making names for NPCs. So I let the players do it. But it's baked into the game. Anybody got a name or a title they want to give this vassal?
I'm leaning towards the title of Emperor.
Okay. Let's write that down. Emperor. Do we want
Maybe
to...
separate name.
Do you want to add something after that? Emperor of, or an adjective before emperor?
You could do something like Emperor of the Shadowed Throne, since they deal with nightmares and rage and stuff.
That sounds pretty awesome. Is everybody cool with just going Emperor of the Shadowed Throne?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. That's
Nice
great.
Here.
Thank you.
That is awesome. And what is the vassal's weapon? So as the chosen ones, as kids to the realm, you are all going to be given magical artifacts that form your playbooks and give you your powers. So each of you has sort of a role in the realm that's all centered around this magical artifact. The vassal, their personality kind of gets anchored in their own magical weapon. So what do you want to see? Like if you were having to face off against this vassal of evil, which you will at the end of the game. Actually, you're gonna face off against him twice. But what weapon would you like to see this vassal use, this emperor?
How about a staff that is made of bones,
All right.
wrapped around a crystal that glows with a malevolent light?
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
All right. And I have to set the darkness rating. The darkness rating is the realm of Eidolon is under siege as the power of darkness rises up across the land. How powerful the forces of darkness are at any given moment across the entire realm is reflected by the darkness rating. The darkness rating in the game also sets the difficulty level of monsters that you may face. You can improve the realm, which lowers the darkness rating, but you can't be everywhere all at once, so the darkness rating will creep back up. If you, during the game, and the game is a campaign, we're just playing the first session today, but if during the campaign you all need a break, like as characters, you need to spend a couple weeks recovering from your wounds or building up a stronghold or something, you're not out in the realm, it is getting worse and the darkness rating will go up. So it's equal to the number of players, so our darkness rating is a 4 to start with. All right, the next step. Now we've done the realm, all right? Magical realm of Eidolon. You were sucked in by the forces of darkness. The vassal of evil, the emperor of the shadowed throne, carries a staff of bones around a glowing crystal, controls nightmares, rage, and fear, wants to bring the great evil down into physical form, and has an army of monstrous beasts. One of those monstrous beasts turned the Sphinx, the riddle master, and helped you all escape at the beginning. We're going to turn away from the realm and we're going to focus on your characters now for a moment. On your first journey through Eidolon, your characters were somewhere between the ages of 9 to 15. You all were kids, but you were also the chosen ones of Eidolon prophecy. You were viewed as heroes and saviors, armed with powerful artifacts, and everyone really believed that you were the ones to drive back the forces of darkness and defeat the vassal of evil. Because that's how this realm works. It's been done time and time and time again. So, I'll be honest with you, normally I like to save name and pronouns till the end when I'm creating a character. Because of the way this game works, and you need to know how relationships between your characters unfold and things like that, we really have to start with name. So, everybody needs to give their childhood character a name. It does not have to be a common name. You know, parents can get really weird with their names that they give their kids, as my kids will tell you. It could be a nickname. It's whatever you want your character to be known by as a kid. So who knows what that is right off the bat?
My character, Lainey.
Lainey.
Laney.
Wonderful. Right. Who else knows their character's name? Go for it, Autumn.
Going with Marianne.
Anne? All right. Jamin?
Let's go with Nate.
Nate? All right. And that leaves Tyr.
Victor.
All right, wonderful. That was easy, right? You got your names. All right. And now each player is going to pick their playbook that they want to go with. And like I said, playbooks are centered around an artifact that you are given on that first journey. And I'll read off the list of playbooks. Our players actually have copies of all of the playbooks to choose from, and those are available on our website too. So these are the playbooks. You could be and each player, there can only be one of each playbook. Now, there are 7 playbooks. If you are playing with more than 7 players, my first question is why, but good for you. If you are playing with more than 7 playbooks, people can double up, but you set one aside before anybody does that. And you'll see why here in a minute. But if you're playing with less than 7 players, each person only gets one. So we have the Blade. The Blade gets a magical weapon, and their job is to slay the horrible things and clear the way for your companions. We have the Heart. The Heart gets a healing amulet. You comfort your companions so they can face the darkness and prevail. We have the Mask. They get a magical item of clothing, and the Mask is sort of our social character. You convince others to aid your cause and charm your way out of trouble. I should pause. Any character can be a social character. Their powers are social. Quill. Quill has a tome of magical spells. You cannot access all of the spells in your tome to start out with. You have to sort of feel the magic and get in and decipher it and connect with the spell. But you do get some spells to start with. The Quill conjures answers to the puzzles that stand in your way. The Shadow. The Shadow gets a magical cloak. You tread a dark path, and keep the others from getting their hands dirty. The Tower. The Tower gets a shield or piece of magical armor. You channel the strength of the natural realm to defend your companions. And the Watcher has a magical lantern. You find the way forward while watching your companions back. All right. So I think everybody knows what they want to play. Looking, yeah, okay, I'm getting nods. I guess we will start with, whoever wants to say it first. I'm not going to make you go around the table. So
I will go last because like the entire list is interesting for me. So from there, everybody else gets first pick.
All right. So somebody else gets to go first. I don't get to pick one, so it's on you.
All right, I'll go. I'm interested in playing the Quill.
And the Quill, okay. All right. Who else?
I was going to pick the heart.
Okay. Autumn. Marianne is the heart. All right. Tyr.
Shadow.
The Shadow. Your magical cloak. And the Shadow can pull up that cloak to step into the Shadow realm. You kind of get to decide what the Shadow realm is like. It is another dimension that has something to do with shadows. So if you decide, oh, it's the ghost of the dead in there, or if you decide it's an empty void, or if it's like the movie The Lord of the Rings when Frodo puts on the ring. Like, it really is up to the Shadow player. What is the Shadow realm like? Okay. I don't want to put too much pressure on you there, Tyr, but I'm just letting you know it's what you want it to be, okay?
I'm down for it.
All right. And that leaves Lainey. Kori.
The Blade.
The Blade. Wonderful. All right. And each of those playbooks, let me pull them up so they're on my screen. So on the left-hand side of your playbook, you'll have a space to write your name. Other stuff, don't worry about that other stuff. I want you to look at the right-hand side, all right? Because like as the Blade, you need to define what your magical weapon is. There in that first blank. And then you choose 2 of those special abilities. Not every playbook chooses 2. The Blade and the Tower choose 2 because they don't get another special thing like step into the Shadow realm with my cloak. Or heal people with my heart amulet. So I do want all the players to look at that right-hand side and pick their gift that their magical artifact gives them, or in the case of the Blade, the 2 gifts, and let us know what you're going with there.
Right. I think for the Blade, Ghost Blade and Independent are the traits that I chose. Ghost Blade is essentially, it's can be a summoned blade, can't be parried or blocked, and it strikes at the soul of living things. I can also strike intangible opponents, so nice little advantage there. And Independent means it's kind of capable of attacking on its own, independent of me.
Yes.
So
yes.
I can get into some fun shenanigans that way.
You can totally get into some fun shenanigans. The other nice thing about Ghostblade is if you're searched, you're not obviously carrying a weapon, right? It's there when you want it, and it's not there when you don't want it. What is your weapon, though? What is it?
It is going to be not a claymore, but like a nice broadsword, 2-handed weapon.
All right. 2-handed broadsword. All right, wonderful. With Ghostblade and Independent. All right. Who else knows what gift they are taking?
I'll go next.
All right, our
I'm
Shadow.
picking Shadow Pockets.
Okay.
I can reach into my own pocket and remove an item from a pocket of anyone I can see.
Yes, and you do not have to know what is in their pocket. All right.
Even better.
So you could reach into your pocket and say, that guy over there, I want to pull out whatever's in his pocket, and you're gonna get it. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Jamin or Autumn?
I'll go.
I've got.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh. So I was thinking, given the theme of the world that we've created, I get 2 spells out of a spell book. So I'm going to take Control Weather, because if we have emotional weather,
Yes.
that could be very fun. And Hypnotize Monster.
And Hypnotize Monster. All right. And on the quill, these spells are written very utilitarian-like. They are a broad range. Just like the Shadow player gets to define what the Shadow Realm is, you get to define what your spells look like. I mean, Control Weather. I don't know how else you would spend Control Weather or Hypnotize Monster. But let's say you take in Magical Attack. You could say, oh, I throw fireballs, or oh, I throw magic missiles, right? You get to kind of define what that is. The quill does have to read from the spell book, that page of the spell aloud when they are casting a spell. You will not have to make a move to cast a spell unless you are in combat. Okay? You can make a move. You can use a spell to augment a move you are making. So if you're trying to do something else and you say, but I'm doing this by controlling the weather, great. You are going to make the move because you're doing something else, but controlling weather is how you're doing it. So it'll make more sense when we get to that part of the game. But that leaves Autumn.
I am going to take this as a more of a character choice than an environmental one, but carry the burdens.
Okay.
Heart. When doing a hard task, dirty job, or menial labor, I can mark any number of stress to add any number of hope to the table. So taking from the stress and putting it to hope.
Yes. Yeah, you can stress yourself out to make the rest of the group hopeful. So hope is a community pool that all the players will draw from. So part of this game is managing and sharing that hope. All right. That was our playbooks. Yay. I do want everybody to note on your playbook, you do have a special move that only you can do. So when we talk about moves in a little bit, understand that you've also got one more besides the basic 5 that you can do. Let me see where I really need more screens. My wife laughs because I've already got 2, right? But I really need 2 more. Just need a whole control center going on here to run games and write them at the same time. All right, so we've got playbooks. The next step of character creation is your inner child. When we think of ourselves as adults, when we look back and think of ourselves as children, we naturally seek ways to encapsulate our memories, traits, and experiences in a label, okay? We are not saying that children should have labels or that labels should encompass everything that a child is. For game purposes, it is much easier for our adult characters to put a label on their childhood character, all right? So you're each going to pick an inner child. Unlike playbooks, these can overlap. So if everybody wanted to be athletic, you could all be athletes, all right? And that would be a thing that is totally fine. I know we're not going to go that way. So the inner child you choose will help during the storytelling, like sort of inform the past journey when you're telling stories in your memories and flashbacks. It also reflects the point in the past where you all bonded with each other, okay? So you're thinking back to what your character was like as a kid, and they may not be entirely like this anymore as an adult. Each of these inner children templates defines an aptitude, all right? And that is listed under your inner child. The aptitude gives you a +1 to your moves when it makes sense. And your inner child grants your character 1 tether and 1 bane, and you will write those on your character sheet exactly like they are written on the inner child templates. A tether is a bond with the world or with another character that helps you, okay? When you have a tether that applies to the action or the narration, you can spend a point of hope to roll 3 dice and take the best 2 instead of rolling 2 dice and taking whatever you're stuck with, all right? You also have banes. if you as a player choose not to activate a tether when you're making a move, but you do have a bane that applies, banes are bad things, I can spend a point of threat to trigger your bane, in which case you would roll 3 dice and take the worst 2. Okay? So you don't have a lot of stats. You're going to lean a lot on tethers and banes. So who knows what inner child they wanted to go with? All right, Tyr.
I'm going with outsider.
Outsider. Okay. And as the outsider, your aptitude is observant. So anytime being observant would help you do what you're doing, you'll get to add a +1 to your roll. That's a +1 number. So if you rolled a 6, you make that a 7. It's not an extra die. The outsider's tether is when you're protecting or befriending an outcast or an innocent. So when you're doing that, if you want to spend hope to embody that, you will get 3 dice. And the bane, unfortunately, is when you have to blend in or sync up with a group. All right, because you're the outsider. Right. Okay. Who else knows what they want to go with?
I know I picked the Daydreamer.
Daydreamer. Yes. Wonderful. Aptitude is imaginative. And these aptitudes are pretty broad, but hopefully not so broad that you apply it to absolutely everything your character does. Though I am the sort of GM that if you can apply your stats to everything your character does, okay, that's what they're there for, right? It's not, if you play into your strengths, that's not cheating. That's your character. So aptitude is imaginative. Your tether is when engaging with an external magic or wonder. So when you gotta directly deal with something awesome, and your bane, this will be interesting, is when faced with an actual monster or nightmare made real. Your vassal has an army of monsters and has the power to control nightmares. So we'll have fun with this. All right.
I picked hard mode, apparently.
Yeah, you picked hard mode for your character. I love it. Okay. Jamin, do you know what you're doing?
Let's go with small fry.
Small fry. All right. So the small fry, aptitude is nimble. Your tether is when being the smallest helps you hide, sneak, or squirm. And your bane is when you need to stand up to something bigger. Which, yeah, you're the small fry. Okay, that leaves Autumn.
I've got Tinker.
Oh, good. Everybody picked something different. I love that. Thank you. Tinker, your aptitude is dexterous. And your tether is when taking apart, repairing, or figuring out a contraption. And your bane is when you don't have the proper tools for the task at hand. So I will let our players know. I have written down your player name, your character's name, and your playbook. I haven't written anything else down about your characters. So hopefully you all have and can tell me what you've got, because I do not have the space to lay out everybody's character sheet in front of me. That also goes for banes. When we get to that point, I will ask you what your banes are. And if we were playing over a campaign and I was a good GM, I would write them down somewhere or remember them by session 3 or 4 and wouldn't have to ask you anymore. But today I'll be asking you. All right. The next step of character creation is your companion bonds. Each character also has a tether tying them to another companion in the group. These represent your shared interest and or memories of your first journey through the realm and give you a boost. You can use it as a tether when you are directly assisting or protecting your bonded companion. Those are the only times this tether applies. So when you are making the provide assistance move to help somebody do something and you're bonded with them, or if you are protecting them from harm. Okay, so we're going to take turns, and each player, we're going to create bonds between the characters. This is going to work a little bit different. Some people say, oh, that happens sort of in reverse. Okay, each player is going to state something about their character that would allow a bond to form. So for example, one of our players could say, oh, I was a theater kid and I was always on stage. Would anybody else form a bond with me over that, right? And you can say, oh yeah, I was probably a techie and I work backstage, so yeah, we have a shared language. That would have formed a bond. Or could say, you know what, my parents divorced when I was in 3rd grade. And somebody else, another player could say, oh, my parents divorced too. So that forms a bond. So players are going to propose a detail about their character, and the other players can choose whether or not they would have bonded over that. All right. The initial player, whoever proposed the bond, is the one that writes it down. So just because you say, oh yes, I would have bonded with you over that, does not mean you both have to write it down. Okay. Everybody gets their own bond. Okay. So, Autumn, since you've done this before, I'm going to have Autumn start.
Okay, so Marianne absolutely would have had a backpack full of like granola bars and gummy worms and stuff. So I would have had lots of snacks. And if anybody is like, anybody was ever hungry, man, I got them all.
Yeah, that's the easy bond right there. Like if you took advantage of the fact that Marianne always had snacks, right? Like that was then say so now, and Marianne will write down that bond. If everybody's like, you know what, that's not something I would have bonded over you with. I would have had my own snacks, then that's totally okay too.
I can see Victor bonding over that, because being the outsider, sometimes, not always having food. So, supplementing meals with goodies from Marianne's backpack, I can see Victor doing that.
Okay. All right. So Marianne is the one that writes it down. Marianne bonded with Victor over snacks. All right. Victor does not have to write down the reverse. Victor will get to propose their own detail about their character, and somebody else can bond over that. So we'll actually go to Victor next, because that just makes sense.
No.
I know.
Pass.
Sorry.
I'm still thinking.
All right. We're going to pass. We're going to go to somebody else. Does anybody else have a detail they want to toss out there? So it could even be a situational thing or a memory. Some of the examples in the book are, my character once stole the shoes of a merchant. We were staying at their house. Would anybody have bonded by covering that up or helping me out with the mischief? Or my character always was an only child and always wanted an older, younger brother or sister. Could one of the other players have filled that role? So that would allow a bond to form. So this is the hardest part of character creation, I know, because it's not picking options. It's throwing something out there and taking a risk that other people are gonna. All right, you got one.
You got one.
So where my thing is protecting or befriending the outcast or the innocent, Victor was never afraid to take a beat down to keep somebody else from getting.
Oh, okay. So did Victor step in and keep one of the other characters, one of the other kids, from getting beat up?
That would really work for Nate. Being
Okay.
small fry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Victor's the one that would write this down, bonded with Nate over however you want to word that, Victor, being beat up or taking his punishment. And these go
Being
in
the
your
protector,
tethers. Yeah, being the protector. All right. Yeah, that's going to put Jamin on the spot then.
I'm gonna stick sort of with our dark theme here. I like the divorced parents example. Just real life experience kicking in
Alright.
too. But feeling a little alone, missing some of that guidance from a parent, or
Okay.
having to grow up too fast and take care of things at home more than a child might have to.
Absolutely.
I can see that working for Lainey too. Daughter of a single mother. It's why she spent so much of her time head in the clouds.
All right. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jamin, you'll write down bonded with Lainey over however you want to word that, being divorced kids or single parent families or extra responsibility. It's all up to you. All right. And that just leaves Kori with Lainey, tossing something out with Lainey for a bond to form with another character.
Being the daydreamer that she is, she probably raided every library that they came across, not for like practical knowledge, which is useful, but for like, okay, what do these people read for fun? What do they have that's like the real world equivalent of fantasy novels? What can I get into fandom here?
All right. So would anybody have bonded with Lainey? Oh yeah, over the fact that she's out there collecting stories.
Yeah, no, I love this because I can imagine there's a situation somewhere in our childhood adventure where you raided a library and you came across a bunch of manuals for like how something worked, a trapdoor or a lockpick or something, and you kind of discarded it. And I was just like, whoa, hang on, I need these. Good finding. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So I think you've got the gist now. Kori, you will write down bonded with Marianne over raiding libraries.
All right.
All right. And I realize I did not give you all this PDF. That's okay. You don't really need it. The next one that we're going to. The GM in this game has three sort of management sheets that they use that tracks all the bad stuff in the realm, all the denizens and magic of the realm, and there's one other important figure that has to be defined. All right, because we've defined you all. Okay, we know your playbooks, we know your inner child, you formed bonds with each other, right? We know how you got into the realm. There was another kid with you that first time. We call this character the Fallen Companion. Because they didn't make it. All right. The details of this lost companion will be sparse at the beginning of the game, but their story will be told through the characters' recollections around the campfire. Regardless of how the rest of the characters entered the realm or returned to Earth, the Fallen Companion did not make it back. Okay. If the characters were all friends or relatives or local to each other, you may have had to deal with some questions about, where did this other kid go? How the loss affected each individual character is up to the players, but this loss should have a significant impact on your character and the journey going forward. So, as a group, the first thing you all get to do is you all got an artifact, so did the Fallen Companion. We have to decide what their playbook was. So you all chose to be the blade, the heart, the quill, and the shadow, which leaves us with... Where are my playbooks? The mask had a magical item of clothing, would probably be your social face of the group. The tower, the ultimate defender, magical protector, or the watcher, kind of found the way through the realm for you all. So you all pick one of those playbooks, and that is the Fallen Companion's playbook. Which one do you all want to go with?
My vote's for Tower because it would make sense that they died defending us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just
right.
keep going darker and darker.
I love it. Please do. Go dark. By all means, go dark. Everybody cool with the tower?
Yeah.
Yep.
On that? All right. Now the next part is their artifacts still hold some of the power that they were given even after they have fallen. So you all get to decide what power is still in that artifact. And to do that, we look at the tower sheet. I'm going to read them off to you. It could be, and even though the tower and the blade, if they were being played as characters, we get 2 of these. The Fallen Companion only ever gets 1 power. Okay. They probably had 2 or more, but it's what's still left in their artifact. So they could have had Breath of the Wind, which allows them to shout incredibly loud, allowing folks to hear them from miles away. They could have had a Dragon Hide, which makes them impervious to the effects of heat or fire. They could have an Elemental Guardian. Basically, they summon the large glowing animal spirit that sort of like a Patronus that comes down over them. They could have like a river, which they never tired, had to sleep, always kept moving. They could have like a rock, they were unable to be knocked down, and they would always hold their position, and other people could hide behind them when they have that power. They could have had mermaid scales, which allowed them to breathe and see underwater, or they could have had Windwalker, which allows them to leap to great heights or distances, and they never suffer harm from falling. So looking over those and knowing how this game works, like a river and like a rock are probably not ones you are going to want to pick. You want to pick something more magical and fantastical, because whoever is carrying the Fallen Companion's artifact gets to use that ability. So one of the other ones, shouting incredibly loud, summoning an elemental guardian, being able to breathe underwater or leap to great heights and fall without harm are your best options there.
Elemental seems to fit in the world pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you then, what was their elemental animal? What was? And it doesn't have to be a real animal. It could be a mythical animal. It could be like the spirit of the Sphinx that helped you. Like anything goes here.
What about a griffin?
A griffin.
I was getting ready to. Yeah. Same wavelengths. I dig it.
All right. So they get elemental guardian of a griffin. Okay. So we've got their name. I mean, we've got their playbook. You all have to give them a name. We don't want to keep calling them them. So you all get to decide what their name and what their pronouns are. And this doesn't have to be their real name, just like your names. It could be a nickname that they took, that you all gave them. So what do you all want the Fallen Companion's name to be? And it might actually be easier to look at this from the other direction. What do you want their gender expression to be? Because that tends to help people then paint them in their mind and pick an appropriate name.
See, I'm going to make the very cheeky suggestion that whatever gender expression, because this works for both, or combined, their nickname ended up being Griffin. That was an instant thing.
I like it. I mean, that makes sense. You summon a big spiritual griffin to infuse your body while you protect your friends. They're gonna start calling you Griffin. All right. What were Griffin's pronouns?
He, him.
Okay. Done. That just makes it easier to talk about Griffin. All right. Now, Griffin was an actual child. Okay, Griffin never got to grow up and lock away their inner child. So, just like each of you picked a inner child for yourself, you're going to pick the same templates for Griffin. Each of you gets to pick one, and none of you can pick the same one. You're going to pick the side of Griffin that you saw. So if Griffin was athletic to you, you're going to put, you know what? Griffin's actual child was athlete. So by the time we're done, there will be 4 templates assigned to Griffin of the actual child. This is also going to give you a second aptitude. You do not write it on your own sheet. You only access the aptitude when you are the keeper of their memory. When you are at certain phases of the game holding their artifact, you will then also get their aptitude that you define and their power that you gave them. I just lost Discord. Okay. All right. Finding detail. And you get the tether. You will write this down on your character sheet. The tether that goes with that inner child. So those inner child. I will read them all off so our audience knows what you are picking from. You could be animal enthusiast, artist, athlete, bookworm, daydreamer, hall monitor, nature scout, outsider, performer, popular kid, sidekick, small fry, spoiled brat, and tinker. The one thing you cannot do is you cannot see in them what you see in yourself. Mechanically, that will not help you at all. But two, you see something different in them. So Autumn, we'll start with you. Do you know what you saw in in Griffin?
Oh gosh, I want to say athlete, but I don't know why.
Go with athlete. All right. So
yeah.
You saw their athletic side. So now you have to say, what was their favorite sport?
Oh, okay. I'm forming it in my mind's eye now. All right. So yeah, as a griffin, I would say that they were like some kind of rugby player.
Okay.
They would got the wingspan, they got the feet kicking, they're ready to rock and roll.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So
Autumn, you will write down as your second tether on your own character sheet when using the skills of rugby.
Okay.
Okay. And this is actually in the rule book. This is called living up to their memory. So you are remembering what they are good at and trying to be good at it yourself. And that's what gives you the tether. All right. Okay. Who else? Who else saw something in your fallen friend, Griffin?
I have an idea of
Okay.
what Lainey saw. The animal enthusiast.
All right. Wonderful.
So.
Was there anything special that you saw them do?
Like whenever we had our veggies on our plate, because we're kids at the time, we don't always eat our veggies. But him always giving what veggies he didn't like or didn't eat to the local ducks and geese.
Yes.
Not feeding them bread, but feeding them the actual food they'd enjoy.
Yeah.
So, just a little soft spot moment.
Fed the ducks broccoli. I don't know if ducks eat broccoli. Don't feed your ducks broccoli without looking it up on Google and seeing if that's actually what they eat, because I don't know. Okay, so you're going to write down as your second tether when you train or befriend a magical creature from the realm. And so that's under the animal enthusiast template in those pages.
You just lost somebody.
I think we just lost somebody. I think we just...
No. I just have to turn up again for a second.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And... that is... who is not gone? Sorry. Tyr or Jamin?
Go ahead, James.
I was thinking I see them as the popular kid. I mean,
all right,
being into sports and that kind of thing, and me being a small fry. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. And your tether is going to be when convincing someone new to follow, or trust you. Popular. Make sure I write this down. And that leaves Tyr. One more inner child that they actually were. You actually saw this in them.
Victor saw Griffin as an artist and was always amazed how he could look beyond people and capture their actual essence when sketching them.
Okay, all right. So Griffin was carrying around a sketchbook and drawing. It wasn't always just standing there in the front taking the blows. He had a side that I like that was artistic. So Tyr, you're going to write down as your second tether when channeling your artistic expression into a creation. All right. So everybody got those? Everybody understand what they did there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've lost my place in the Google Doc, so that's all right. We recorded that, and living up to their memory, you look at the tether provided by the inner child, and you write that down on your own character sheet. This choice reflects channeling the memory of what the fallen companion was good at and attempting to live up to their example. So you have done that. Awesome. All right. So we have created your characters. We have created the character of the fallen companion. We know how you got into this realm. We know who the bad guy, the vassal of evil, emperor of the shadowed throne is. We are going to define a few important things that happen, a few important peoples that you met on your first journey, and some important places that you went. For the audience at home watching, normally at this point, if we were playing at a convention, I would put a blank piece of paper and some stickers out on the table. And as people define landmarks, they would get to take the stickers and put them where they want on the map, or draw something in. We have a map that we are going to use because doing this part of the game online is challenging. Doing this part of the game during a stream online is super difficult. We'd have to get into Roll20 and all that, and nobody has time for that. So I'm going to pop my camera over so everybody can sort of see that map there. I know it's very, very small, but kind of gives you an idea of the map we're working off of here. And we're going to do the important places of the realm first. Each player will answer one question for each section below using the lists of locations and denizens to shape those answers. Again, you don't need to go into extensive detail. You're simply giving everyone the bones of your shared past, your first journey, to build out from. And players, these were the extra pages that I sent you that had questions. For the locations, and these are not all the locations in the realm. Clearly, these are the ones that you went to that were important to you all on your first journey. More locations will be developed as we go. So there's a list of 10 questions, I believe, and a list of 12 landmarks. I'm not going to read out the questions. I am going to read out the landmarks for our viewing audience. The landmarks that they are able to pick from and define are beneath the bones of the behemoth, the crystal crags, the desert of broken glass, the floating sky islands, the great mistwater falls, the hollow hills, the mushroom forests of Ur, the ruin-covered ruins of the lost ancients, the slime bogs, the singing plains, the quicksand dunes, and the witchwood. The rune-covered ruins of the lost ancients are actually not on this map that I gave you all. In this map, they're kind of scattered at multiple locations. There is a list of questions to ask that are asking about the realm. We do not have to answer all of these. We do not have to answer them in order. Each of you gets to pick and answer one of them. Who wants to go first? I would normally say Autumn. You've done this before, so Autumn, go first. Are you ready? You think you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I got one.
Okay.
All right. So I like the idea of where'd you get hopelessly lost? How'd you find your way out again? And it kind of speaks for itself that you get lost beneath the bones of the behemoth, sort of like a labyrinth of bones.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that something to do with the griffin would be a way that we got out, whether it was the griffin knew the way or the griffin used some kind of griffin power, but the tower definitely helped us maybe find where, maybe fly us out one at a time, something like that.
Okay. All right. That actually sounds good. Escorted you. Maybe it was a really dangerous place. And they escorted you out one at a time. Like instead of defending the whole group en masse, sort of got you out one at a time and went back for the next one. Does that yeah. It's actually, I don't get to ask the group. I only get to ask Autumn. Does that work for this memory that you're defining?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And there you go. That's all you have to answer for the question. Now, nobody else can take Autumn's question, and nobody else can pick the bones of the behemoth. You have to go to a different landmark to answer a question. So who is ready with that?
I think I have one.
All right.
And I have to find it again. The question is, where did you all experience a great festival or celebration, and what was it for? I think it was near the Great Mistwater Falls. It was just a kind of a harvest celebration, like a bounty. Like whether it's fishing or like some of the trees, the geography. Just something very, hey, we have enough to not only survive the upcoming down season, we have enough to share and kind of celebrate, sort of thing.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Tyr or Jamin?
I'm having difficulty finding the questions.
That's okay. Let me... They were on the Discord. However, I can actually probably... they were one of the first 3 PDFs.
We're in the Inner Child and Denizen Landmark PDF.
Yeah.
On the...
Oh, okay. They're in the same document as the Inner Child. But I can...
On the page, starting on page marked 29, which is page 6 of that particular PDF.
I also tossed them over in our Discord chat, and I will do the people's as well. That's super spammy. Sorry about that, but they are now also in the Discord chat. If you go back to there, yeah, I get it. It is hard when you don't have a physical printed book, like to pass around for some of this. But this game, so this game was supposed to be on Kickstarter right now. Unfortunately, some things happened, medical things with an artist on the project, so we're delayed a little bit. He's okay. He's all right. Good. It's just moving slower than we had planned, and I really wanted to use him, so we're just bumping it to the beginning of next year instead of right now with half the art we wanted. So that's that. Yes. So while Tyr reads over those questions, Jamin, do you know what you want to do?
Yeah. So the question is, where was a place you had to abandon under the vassal's onslaught, and how did you all escape it? So we were in the Sky Islands, and I'm saying Marianne has tinkerer abilities, is that it? Yep. So Marianne had to build us some sort of glider that we narrowly escaped the attack by gliding down from the Sky Islands.
I love it. Okay. All right, Tyr. You got one? Has everybody already grabbed the question you were going to ask? Okay.
Nope. Where did you uncover realm-altering magic, and why did you all leave it behind? It was found in the mushroom forest of Ore.
Okay.
It was called the Creator's Horn, and supposedly blowing it could actually recreate the realm, and we all decided that was too powerful even when being meant for good.
Yeah. I think I saw that Star Trek movie. I love it. Yes. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. You would leave that behind. That's a super powerful thing. Hopefully the Vassal of Evil didn't find it and get it from you. All right. I'm gonna, if I remember how, I'm gonna make that map go away. There it goes. Bye-bye map. We can pull that up again if we need it. And now, so we answered, right, those questions about the places you went that were important, right? You got lost beneath the bones of the Behemoth and Griffin, your fallen companion escorted everyone out one at a time. There was a harvest celebration. You celebrated the harvest by the Mistwater Falls. You glided down from the Sky Islands, fleeing a battle that you were gonna lose. That was a good way out. And you found this great magical world reshaping, rebuilding horn, the creator's horn in the mushroom forest, and wisely decided to leave it behind. There are many magical denizens, peoples, inhabitants of the realm of Eidolon. However, it's unlikely that you all encountered all 12 of these on your first journey. You might not even encounter all 12 of them on your campaign. But you did encounter some of them. So each player gets to pick one of the denizen questions and answer that with a list of denizens. I'll read off the list of denizens real quick for our audience at home. We have the Elysians, which are elusive, graceful beings that glow with inner starlight. We have our Flitters, which are tiny 4-inch humanoids with tiny wings. We have our Froglins, which are frog goblins, essentially. We have our Gastropodarians, which are anthropomorphic and monastic snail and snail and slug people. We have the Grunks, which these are the guys from Star Wars, really. They're the Ugnaughts from Star Wars, all right? They're short pig people with tusks. I just love them, so they had to go in the game. The Hairken, which are the wandering trickster rabbit folk. The Knotwood folk, which are like dryads, but they're tangles of roots, and they're not bound to any one tree. So there are the Lethe, which are they're mysterious, masked, robed figures whose memory is erased every time they sleep. There are the Lobsteras, which are basically if you take a lobster, blow it up to 7 feet tall, stand it on its end, and give it some weapons. It's a giant lobster gladiator person. There are the Nadirians, which are the human-like people of the realm, but they each have one greatly exaggerated feature. So you could have a Nadirian that has huge ears or a big nose or giant feet or enormous eyebrows, and each one is going to be different. You have the Pelagos, which are long-legged bird people. It's basically Disney Robin Hood when he's in historic disguise. You have the river trow, which are naiads of the waterways. You have the thorn witches, which are mystic centaur-like deer women. You have the umbrals, which are silent beings made of living shadow. And you have the whatsits, which are animated conglomerations of objects that were empowered by wizards. So kind of like golems, but not Gollum from Lord of the Rings, not the slimy, that he would be a froglin, but like if you had a coat rack with a jacket on it and an umbrella as a sword, right, and a wizard animated that. So the Beast Castle, they're basically the Beast Castle. So you all have your list of questions. Everybody gets to ask one question and answer that question with one of the denizens from our list. And yes, some of these denizens are really, really strange and weird, from children's fantasy adventures. Remember, this realm is hopeful and light and wonderful, and you all screwed up and it all went to crap. All right. So who has a question that they are ready to ask and an answer that they can give? Yes.
So it says, who are the denizens you found the most magical on your first journey? And what wonders did they show you? It is the umbrals.
Yeah.
They taught us how to become the things that go bump in the night.
Ooh, yeah, that works for the shadow. All right, I love it. Taught you to be the things that go bump in the night. All right. That's exactly what we're supposed to do here. Okay, so who has a question? I mean, yes, who has a question that they're ready with? Go for it.
I have one. Who were the denizens that equipped and or trained you to face the great evil on your first journey, and how did they do that? I think it was going to be the... Where are they? Oh, I need the name. The deer Thorn Witches. There we
The
are.
Thorn Witches.
So
All right.
they taught us magic of the realm and how we connected to our magical artifacts.
All right. Okay. Did they give you the artifacts? Did the Sphinx maybe take you there and they gave you the artifacts?
I could see that. And maybe, like, in cases like the blade here, taught us how to use them effectively.
Right.
Like, in the practical way.
Because as a child, you probably didn't have a lot of experience swinging around a two-handed sword.
No.
Not in any way that's going to do damage to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in a useful way. Like,
Right.
going out to the forest and pretending a stick is a sword is one thing. Having a magical blade in your hand is a totally different thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Okay. So, Jamin or Autumn?
All right. What were or who were the nicest or most generous you met on your first journey, and how did they help? I'm intrigued by the idea of having a harvest festival at Mistwater Falls. And I can imagine little froglins just gathering baskets full of fish and you know, helping out by making sure that we were all equipped with food and rope and bandages and whatever else practical stuff that we would need while we were celebrating with them at the Harvest Festival.
All right. And that takes us to Jamin.
So many choices.
I know. There are a lot of choices. But this way, everybody's realm is different.
Mm-hmm. No one did the who were the denizens that you found to be the most knowledgeable about important things yet? Okay.
Nope.
And what secret did they share with your company? How about the Pelagos, the studious long-legged bird people? They told us how to find the artifacts.
Oh, okay.
And maybe they did so just before. I imagine they might live in the Sky Islands. So
Okay.
They could have been attacked after giving us that information, and then we had to escape.
Yeah.
That's probably our first thing. Maybe we landed in the Sky Islands. That was our first test.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. All right. I am pretty sure you all have done that step. Everything looks filled out on my sheet. All right. So, yeah. The Umbrals taught you how to be the things that go bump in the night. The Thorn Witches trained you how to actually fight without just swinging sticks at each other. The Froglins were the nicest. They collected baskets of fish in that harvest festival, made sure you were all fed and had supplies for your journey. And the Pelagos were the most knowledgeable. They taught you how to find the artifacts and the magic that you needed. And that is when you built a glider and jumped off the Sky Islands. So these are things that happened on your journey throughout the magical realm, going to face the Emperor of the Shadowed Throne with his staff of bones and glowing crystal around it. These things happen. You went to these magical places, you had your adventures, you met these wonderful, and then you're like, we're ready, we're gonna do it, we're gonna go face the vassal of evil, this great powerful thing. We've been trained, we've got magic. Where did that confrontation take place? So you're going to pick one of, and as a group, you're going to pick one of the landmarks that you all have not defined. So it can't be the Bones of the Behemoth, the Mistwater Falls, the Sky Islands, or the Mushroom Forest. Any of the other ones are fair game. So where did you have that final battle? Was it the Crystal Crags, the Desert of Broken Glass, the Hollow Hills, the rune-covered ruins of the Lost Ancients, the Slime Bogs, the Singing Plains, the quicksand dunes, or the witchwood?
I think that the rune-covered ruins, I know they're not on the map, but
Yeah.
for a ritual to bring back the great evil to take place, old ruins makes sense. So if that works for everyone.
All right.
I dig it.
Okay. Your battle there didn't go so well. How did your fallen companion die, and who saw it happen? We don't have to get graphic here, but they could have been sacrificed for the ritual, right? They could have been just trying to defend you all and were cut down. Rune covered ruins. I mean, it could be as simple as, the floor gave way and they fell to their doom.
When I think about it, what I see in my mind's eye is the 5 of us have confronted the Emperor of the Shadowed Throne, and we all come to the realization we're not strong enough to defeat them. And Griffin steps up to block the path so that the rest of us can escape.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I see.
Okay. And you do not have to answer me. You don't have to answer the chat. But each of you needs to decide, did you see that happen? So, as a character, did you linger and see them fall and then take off running? Or do you just kind of know it happened? Right? All right. While your character may not admit it or recognize it, they suffered a deep emotional trauma when their companion fell and they were summarily ejected from Eidolon. So shortly after this battle, right, the 4 of you got away and got out of the realm. All right. It wasn't, you went into hiding somewhere in the Witchwood and the magic pushed you out. All right. The company was broken. A part of your soul was left behind, bound to the magical artifacts, which did not return to Earth with you. So you didn't have your sword going through high school. It was left behind. To reflect this lingering trauma and guilt, each of you should have 3 tethers written down on your character sheet. 1 came from your inner child, 1 came from the fallen companion, and 1 came from the bond that you created with another character. You are going to pick one of those, and you are going to burn one of those. You're going to mark the bubble next to it that says burned tether. This burned tether, when a tether is burned, it counts as a bane. So it hurts you instead of helps you. And this is the trauma from that event. So, and for our viewing audience, I'll go around and ask everybody, what did you burn, Autumn?
Oh gosh, I burnt using any rugby skills for Griffin's memory because I feel like I'm very traumatized by losing that person.
All right. Okay. Jamin?
Yeah, I'm burning the when convincing someone new to like, follow, or trust you.
All right. Kori?
I'm going to burn the one that's when I train or befriend a magical creature from the realm.
Oh! All right.
No.
It hurts. We were both traumatized. Poor me and Marianne.
Yeah. All right. And Tyr.
Victor is going to burn the willing to step in and take a beat down for other people. Seeing
All right.
Griffin fall sort of changed his perspective on that.
I love it. All right. So that was the first part of your journey. We have a little bit more to do, and then we're going to take a short break. After being ejected from the realm, it wasn't horrible because you did actually get to grow up. You became adults. You most likely went to college, entered the workforce, or somehow acquired other skills relevant to their occupation. but the trauma you suffered in Eidolon as a child also had an impact on your adult life too. Each of you carries emotional baggage with you as a detrimental personality trait or an emotional quirk that resulted from that ultimate failure on your first journey. These are selected from the following list and written as another bane on your character sheet. I'm going to drop these in chat as well for you so that you can see the list and be able to pick from them. And then I'm going to read them off as well so that everybody can hear all of them. But this way, over in that Discord chat, you've got the list of them. This is going to be written as another bane. This will be your final bane on your character sheet. So you might now be apathetic. Your bane would be when you have to exert significant effort. You might be awkward. So your bane might be when you're faced with unscripted social situations. You could be careless. That bane is when paying attention really matters. You could have grown up to be cold when you need to show empathy for others. You could be impatient now when you must slow down or wait for something. You could be self-destructive, aren't we all, when taking the safer or more cautious approach. You could be shady, which is going to make it harder for getting folks to trust you. You could be squeamish. You don't do so well when you're faced with blood and gore. You could be suspicious, kind of the opposite of shady. Shady is getting other people to trust you. Suspicious is trusting other people. Or you could be timid, that you just don't do well with confrontation. So each of you is going to pick one of those baggages, emotional baggage from the list, and then write down the bane associated with it. Who wants to tell everybody what they picked first?
I've got one.
Okay.
All right. I've got timid when engaged in face-to-face confrontation. Not very good at getting into arguments. Big, loud, shiny, scary arguments.
Yeah, I hear that.
Okay.
All right, Kori. Kori, I think you're muted.
I was muted, thank you. I took self-destructive when taking the safer or cautious approach. I kind of took the opposite direction that Marianne developed in.
All right. Who else is ready? All right, go for it, Tyr.
I also took self-destructive.
That's fine. You can take the same one.
After everything Victor saw, he goes to crazy extremes just to try to feel alive.
Yeah, I love it.
Gremlin junkies.
Yes, all of these characters do need therapy. That's just a given. All right, and Jamin.
I will go with cold.
Cold. All right. All right. As well as your emotional baggage, you also have an adult job, or the equivalent of an adult job. So, your character might have been destined to be a doctor, astronaut, ballet dancer, great architect, or great artist or architect as a child. As adults, you may have ended up as a retail clerk, a middle school coach, or even a homeless drifter. You could have also been an astronaut, ballet dancer. That's fine. We're just throwing out there that you're not playing superheroes here. You can have an adult job that is not an astronaut. Regardless, there are skills that you would have picked up from your adult job, no matter how lackluster it might be. When these skills are applicable to the move you're making, you can add +1 to the final score. Just like your childhood aptitude, you also have your adult vocation. So each of us is going to figure out what your job is as a grown-up. 20 years have passed. What do you do? And yes, I have had in playtesting, players have managed to use being a Burger King manager in getting that +1, right? Being a perpetual grad student, getting that +1, being a janitor. So there are ways that you can use these skills in the game. So who knows what their character's grown-up job is?
Ooh. I have an idea for mine.
All right.
Ship chef, cruise chef, essentially on like a cargo vessel.
All
She
right.
cannot settle down. Like, the moment she turned 18, she got a job that took her to the coast, and then from there, just cannot find a place to settle down.
All right. I love it. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna write down chef or cruise chef or however you want to do that. All right. Who else knows what their character became as they grew up? All right.
Go ahead, Jamin.
Sure. So Nate became an accountant. Kind of pulled back from contact with people and just focused on hard facts and numbers.
I love it. A cold accountant.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Okay. Tyr, I think you were ready.
Yeah, Victor became a forester.
Oh, nice. Okay.
2 reasons. One, to see how many snoots he can boop without getting killed. And 2, to see if he can find his way back to the magic land.
All right. Yeah. All right, Autumn.
All right, I have auto mechanic.
Auto mechanic. Nice.
Grunt job, auto mechanic. Yep.
Okay. All right. Tears actually brings us into the next question. How were you summoned back to the realm again? And just like at the beginning of this whole process, is this multiple choice? Okay, there it is. How were you summoned back into the realm again? Was it a child's fervent prayer at the tomb of the fallen? Was it the dying wish of your old mentor? Was it you were once more imprisoned by a ritual performed by the followers of the great evil? Was it a celestial event as the prophecy foretold? Or did you find your own way back to the realm? Was Tyr successful and found a gateway maybe in the woods? So those are your choices. Child's prayer at the tomb of the fallen, dying wish of your old mentor, imprisoned by a ritual performed by the followers of the great evil, a celestial event as the prophecy foretold, or you all found your own way back in.
Ooh. I think I like leaning into Tears. Like, he might have found something in the forest and either contacted us, or it was all like wherever we were, something just kind of opened up when he found it. Like, I don't know if we want to keep contact after we get back, but I'd like to think we did. So
It could be an individual decision. So it can't be an individual decision on how y'all got back, but it could be an individual decision on whether you made contact or not. So it sounds like Lainey probably did reach out to everybody else and try to stay in contact.
Yeah. Just because she can't stay in one place doesn't mean she can't be contacted. She just can't settle down.
Victor sent cryptic postcards to people every now and then, talking about, how close he is to finding it. But he swore off technology, no cell phones or anything like that.
That's fair.
Okay. So do you all want to go with that? That Victor found a passage back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. And now everybody's absolute favorite part of character and world creation. This is the last little bit. And then we will take our break and then jump into the first actual scene of the game. So just to recap everything so far, you all were sucked into the magical realm of Eidolon as kids, as by the forces of darkness. They abducted you to sort of help their ritual to summon the great evil down into a physical form. You've the vassal of evil, the emperor of the shadowed throne, and an army of monstrous beasts, and had the ability to manipulate nightmares and rage and fear. You traveled to the bones of the behemoth, the mist waterfalls, the sky islands, the mushroom forests. You met the umbrals, the thorn witches, the froglins, the pelagos, and you had a final face down at the rune-covered ruins, where your fallen companion Griffin stayed back and made sure you all could escape. I need everyone now to roll 2 dice. Right, and this part is known as the Ruin of the Realm. You all have been away from the realm for 20 years of Earth time. Time moves differently in Eidolon, though. Almost 100 years have passed, and the realm has changed drastically, or even fallen into ruin in your absence. So, let's see what happened to the bones of the Behemoth. Autumn, what did you roll?
Rolled 8 total.
An 8. Okay, yeah, you're gonna add them together. The bones of the Behemoth have become run down, but they might not be abandoned. All right. Kori, what did you roll? Let's see what happened to the Mistwater Falls while you're gone.
Rolled a 10.
A 10, that's pretty good. It's a refuge against the darkness. So that place for the Harvest Festival, that is holding out. Sky Islands. Who did the Sky Islands? That was Jamin. What happened to the Sky Islands?
A 3.
That's not great.
I didn't think so.
They are a stronghold of darkness now, which sort of makes sense, right? I mean, that was a big battle, and y'all fled from it. So they are the stronghold of darkness. Darkness. And the Mushroom Forest. Tyr, what did you roll?
I used all my luck on this one. I got 12.
You got a 12. They are also a refuge against the darkness.
Now all my rolls will be crap. But you know, I got one good one. I'm happy.
And in this game, just because it just happened, not that you all have any stress on your character sheet yet, but when you roll a natural 12, which is a 6 on both die, you do get to clear a point of stress. If you have stress marked, you can automatically clear it on a. So you just used it when it didn't matter. But good job.
Story of my life.
And in doing that, I have lost my page. Here we go. All right. I need everybody to roll the dice again. Both dice. You're going to add them together. Just 2 dice. Add them together. All right. We'll start with Tyr since he had that awesome... A 6. Okay, we're going to see what happened to the Umbrals. They have been tainted and twisted by evil influences. They originally... They taught you how to be creepy, and they went full-on creepy. Oh, I'm sorry, that's landmarks. Whoops. They're not a landmark, they're a denizen. They've been enslaved. They've been subjugated and enslaved.
Oh, damn. Bad dice.
Yeah. Low numbers in this game are not good. All right. Kori, the Thorn Witches. What happened to the Thorn Witches?
11.
11. They are a force of resistance against the vassal. They taught you how to fight at the beginning, and they are still fighting. So that's pretty cool. The Froglins, Autumn.
I don't want to say.
You don't want to say.
Oh, no.
I know. This is what always happens. The nice one. Somebody sets something up really nice and wholesome. Autumn, the Froglins have joined with the forces of darkness.
No.
Yeah. It may not be willing, but in the 100 years that have passed, those Froglins are part of the Dark Forces army. And the Pelagos. What happened to the Pelagos, the Storky bird people?
A 9.
A 9. They're hanging on as a free people, but just barely. They're not really fighting back. They're hanging on. All right.
Scattered to the winds.
Scattered to the winds. All right. And that actually does move our darkness rating up by 2 points. You all got a stronghold and more forces of darkness. The realm definitely got darker while you all were away. Yeah, so that's what you all are coming back into. We are going to take a short break so people can refill their water or what have you. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us this long. We will be back in just a few minutes to jump in with the first scene of Vale, of the Failed and the Fallen.
Awesome.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. We are here with Rook and Rasp. We just did the first part of Dancing Kittens. The second half of the stream is all Dancing Kittens, so I'm glad you stayed here for it. No, we just did the first half of the first session of Vale, Failed and the Fallen, in which we create characters, create the world, and ruin the world. So yeah, it not as bad as it could have gone. However, I do have to set up the hope and the threat. You all start with 1 hope in the pool as you return to the realm. Don't worry, you can get more. All right, it is not difficult to get more hope. Lots of options on your moves will be make a statement about how something stays the same, or make a statement about how something changes and add a hope to the table. So you are only starting with 1 hope. Believe it or not, because your darkness rating is at 3, I am starting with 3 threat. So I'm going to pop that in there. All right. And now we are in the game. So we're gonna take a moment now. Each of you before going back into the realm of Eidolon as grown-ups for the second time. I want you to take a moment as your character and describe where you are and what you're doing in your real life. Did you all actually find each other again? Like, you got these postcards. What are you doing to find a way back into the realm here? And I think we should probably start with Victor, since Victor was the one actively looking for a way back in the realm. What was Victor out there doing?
Well, Victor was deep in the Pacific West woodlands. Thought he saw a Sasquatch or 2, but ignored it. Did find a cave with a beautiful small waterfall that had an opening to the sky, and light would dance on the water, making hypnotic patterns around him. And that's where he found the way to get back.
All right. And did Victor? So Victor doesn't use a cell phone, right, or a satellite phone or anything,
Right.
All right. So
he
do you?
sent postcards
He sent postcards to everybody
with GPS locations. That's all it is. It's just postcards with GPS locations.
Okay. All right. Victor's got a swirling portal in the world. He sends out in the woods, sends out a postcard with GPS locations on it. So what is everybody else? What is everybody else doing? And what do you do when you get a postcard from Victor with coordinates on it? Whoever wants to start, go for it.
I do have a question. Is that all Victor sends is a postcard with whatever random image? Doesn't even make sense. The stamp and just the coordinates in the notes, or does he attach it to the coordinates?
He signs his name Victor.
Victor so it's the coordinates and Victor.
Yep.
Lainey's between contracts. She grabs her little between contract bag. She doesn't carry much, and she goes on this hike into the Pacific Northwest. She probably disembarked somewhere like Seattle or something. Hikes, bikes, probably thumbs her way up, follows the coordinates, and meets up with Victor.
All right. What time of year is it?
Oh, I want to say it's fall. Because Pacific Northwest in the fall is amazing.
It is beautiful. Yeah. Hiking through the woods in the fall. I love it. Watch out
just enough to need a flannel, not too cold, just enough to break the chill.
Yep.
And Lainey probably enjoys it because 9 times out of 10 she's cutting her pixie cut off. So.
All right.
Yeah. He's still following the coordinates.
Follows the coordinates. Yeah. You might have to skirt around with some bears.
Would she skirt around them, or would she just kind of look at them and go, "Try me"?
If not friend, why friend shape?
We're not gonna roll to see what happens with Lainey and the bears, because that could be a totally new adventure.
What her bane is like the self-destruct. Like she's gonna
no.
come across, as long as it's not a grizzly. If it's a grizzly, she might go not tangling with you. You are on your own. She'd be intimidating. Like all of her 5'3", because she probably didn't grow very much after getting back. But she's got that like attitude. Tiny but mighty.
Nope, we're gonna make a move here. You're trying to intimidate bears. We're gonna make a move here. This was not gonna be the first move of the game, but it is now. So there are 5 core moves in this game. Provide assistance when you are helping somebody else do something. Obscure the details when you are trying to hide or cover something up. Seek the truth. The opposite of hiding or covering something up. You're trying to find out something. Lead the charge. You are trying to change the situation. And hold the line. You're trying to hold the line. You're trying to keep things the same. So you always get to pick what move you are making. If you are really trying to intimidate bears into leaving you alone, it is probably lead the charge. But there are cases to be made for, oh no, I'm holding the line. I'm just walking down the path, and if they come at me, I'm just stepping out of the way. You could even be, you did not describe obscuring the details. Like if you had said, I am sort of sneaking through the woods and avoiding them, that would be obscure the details. I also wouldn't be making you make a move right now, because that's like, okay, yeah, that's totally fine.
Dealing with anything but grizzlies, you want to be as possible. You want them to know you're coming. Grizzlies, you're kind of borked either way if you run across a grizzly on a trail. Prey, it does not have intents or is hungry. But like brown bears and everything but polar bear make noise, have fun.
Yes.
They're probably more annoyed by you and want to avoid you.
We'll definitely say brown bears. Thank you, because I was racking my brain like grizzly bear, polar bear, panda bear. None of these are the bear. Brown.
Brown and
black
bear.
Brown bear. All right. So, and so everybody can see how a move is made. You're going to take 2 dice, but first we need to see, does your aptitude or your vocation apply to the move that you are making here?
I could argue crew chef makes for the vocation, because you have to yell across a noisy kitchen. Like, she's got
being loud. I will absolutely give that to you. Okay, so that's a +1 right there. And what is your childhood aptitude?
Imaginative.
Probably not here.
Probably
that
not.
Probably doesn't apply. You do not have harm marked. I know that for a fact, because this is the very first move of the game, so you're not going to subtract anything. And normally you would pick up 2 dice and roll, but do you have a tether that applies here?
Possibly, if bears are considered natural wonders of the woods. That I'd make that argument, but that is up to you too as GM.
Is your tether for magical things?
Yeah, that's the engaging with an external magic or wonder. So
yeah, I know these are normal. These are not magic bears. And you would have to spend the group's only hope in the pool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you're gonna roll 2 dice. All right.
3.
A total of 3.
All right, 4. Sorry, total of 4. 2 and a 1 on the die. It's not working for her here.
Yeah, you may want to. You can always mark a point of stress to re-roll.
I'm going to do that. She's more at home on the seas than she is in a forest.
Right?
Now, is that 1 die or
you roll 1 die? 1 die for 1 stress. If you wanted to re-roll both of them, you could spend 2 stress. Mechanically, it's not a wise idea.
Yeah. I'm just gonna re-roll that 1. Same result.
Okay. All right. So you're sitting on the 4. You can keep re-rolling with stress if you want to, but for the very first move of the game, that's totally up to you. This
Nah.
is not going to be a make or break.
This is more an amusing thing.
Yeah. Then we're showing everyone, hey, how this system works. Okay. Well, this is a failure. All right, you have missed on a 6 or less. So you do not change the situation. You don't get to pick any cool mechanical benefits. You do get to mark reflection. All right, reflection in this game is like XP. If you fill up your reflection track, you get to define a new tether for your character. However, you will also spend reflection to trigger around the campfire scenes when we get to that, which are your flashback scenes, which do good things usually. And the GM makes a move, well, I'm going to make the move of break something important. So these bears roar back at you. They are not your kitchen crew, right? They're not, no, I mean, they don't know the first thing about sauteing vegetables. The raw fish, that's what they're about. So you're shouting at bears to get out of your way. They're roaring back, start chasing you down the trail. And I'm going to say anything that you brought with you, you are dropping along the way. Like take this, not me. All right. So you're going to get to that portal with Victor, no problem, but you're not going to have any stuff. Like,
it's just her go bag. Her rucksack. She's just going to have to find clothes or steal somebody else's.
You can have your clothes that you're wearing, okay? Like that's not what's happening here.
Not the clothes she's wearing, her extra clothes.
Yes. Yeah. Cell phone, anything like that. All right, so running through the woods from bears. What are the other two of you all doing in your real life as adults?
So, listen, I'm working at this auto mechanic, okay? I'm just doing my job. I get this friggin' thing in the mail. And I'm like, all right, this has got to be Victor. He's the only one who's not on Facebook. I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. I have no idea what this thing is. I don't know what coordinates are, okay? But my stepson, Ryan, got this friggin' drone for Christmas, which I bought it for him. And so I'm like, all right, let me see if I can fly this thing out, see where the heck I'm supposed to be going. So I find where these friggin' coordinates are. It's some kind of waterfall thing. I'm like, all right, fine. So I get a plane ticket. I hop out there. I find this thing. Drone dies on me, but lucky enough, it found the friggin' cave. Okay, I need to stop saying that. We're on a live stream, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, you found the cave.
I found the darn thing. Yeah.
With Victor and Lainey running in from bears. That takes us to Nate. What is Nate doing in the world?
So Nate, who now prefers to go by Nathan, he gets this postcard and he's very conflicted because there's only these 3 other people who know what happened, Victor being one of them, and part of him wants to forget it all because of the trauma. And so he probably reaches out before going anywhere and to get in touch with Lainey or Marianne and say, so did you get one of these? What's going on?
Marianne is probably the easier of the 2 of us to get a hold of.
Oh, yeah. I answer your Facebook message right away. I'm sitting in the car pickup line at the high school. I got your message right away. Oh yeah. I'm checking it out, so I'll let you know what I find.
Okay. I mean, yeah, let's say Nathan's a little reluctant, but after, one of these other two like calls him up after getting there and says, "Yeah, he found it."
Mhm.
They can convince him that we can go back and we can, you know, we can deal with this trauma, prove to ourselves that it actually happened, you know, after 20 years. Like, was that just a hallucination, or did it really happen? We didn't bring anything back from it. We just lost one of our classmates.
Yep. All
Mhm.
right. So you all go. You all gather there at this cave, and in the autumn, in the fall, and arriving. Just for the sake of story, we'll say you all arrive. Like Victor's already there. Victor's set up there, right? Um,
Mhm.
Victor, have you tried to tell me what this portal looks like?
It at first it goes unnoticed because the reflections of the water making wild shapes on the wall and in the water. But when you look, there's actually a rhythmic pattern to the shapes. And after on every hour on the hour, it turns into one of the swirling portals like we saw when we were kids.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
So, do you try to go through before the rest of them get there, or are you waiting for the whole group to gather?
I'm waiting for the group to gather.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so the group eventually
Mhm.
gathers. Drone crashes, but Marianne gets there anyway. Nathan reluctantly sort of joins.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably dressed in brand new REI gear because he's an accountant and doesn't.
all right,
It's like, I don't know what we're doing, but okay, we're off in the woods. I better, go shopping and get the right stuff for this
right,
hike.
yeah, yeah. Um, and Lainey comes in running from bears. Um, so
Must have been Georgie.
She is
so
She's
probably
the ornery
laughing.
one.
what? I mean, you all are there. Like, what do you say to each other? What do you do?
I mean,
Victor
I'm
would
gonna
be
know
like,
everything
no,
you've been up to because I've seen it all on Facebook. And Nathan, you don't post enough, and I have no idea what you've been up to. But how's the cruise ship go with Lainey?
I'm pretty good. I'm between contracts, so not really too worried about anything. Hold on for two
I don't think we
seconds.
should be worried about anything else because we're going into this portal. What is it? What is with this portal, Victor? You know what's going on. You tell us
it
what we're
takes us
doing. I'm
back.
following you into whatever you want to do. Just tell me.
Wait a minute. What do you mean we're following? There's a
We're,
portal, and we all really want to go back. That's what we want to do.
don't you? Doesn't it gnaw at you how things were left? What about Griffin? He needs avenged.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going back. We left unfinished business there, and I've got a bone to pick. We're all older. Can't say wiser in my case, but if we get a second chance, I'm going to take it.
We've got 57 minutes before it opens.
All right.
Oh no. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't leave it alone. It haunts my dreams. Maybe finally I can get a good night's sleep, assuming we survive.
Mm. Don't know
I
about y'all,
better
but I'm not
stop
leaving
trying
anybody.
and keep running. Sorry.
All right. So the minutes tick down. How do you all go about going through the portal? Like, do you hold hands? Do you hold your breath? Do you um
Is it in the water or is it against the wall.
It's in
Portal.
the water.
Like in the pool at the bottom of the waterfall, so sort of like a jump in.
Yeah, Lainey probably just looks around at everybody, grins, and goes kind of like that. Here I go. It dives in.
All right. Lainey doesn't have any things, so that's
No.
totally fine. Lainey dives in. Nathan loaded up with REI gear.
Yeah, he has a pack. He probably takes his boots off and is, like tries to seal up the bag as best he can with some of his clothes so that he can get something somewhat dry when he goes through, and tries to wade out with the bag all over his head. and just before hitting the portal, he holds his breath and hopes that they're not going to end up somewhere horrible on the other side.
Right. I mean, you all don't technically know this is a portal back to Eidolon. It is, because that's the game we're playing. But yeah, you could go anywhere. All right. Yeah, you're getting slurped down. Who's next?
I'm probably gonna go next. Listen, I didn't really prepare for this, but I got a big old pocketbook full of crap. So I'm gonna find like a half-eaten peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm gonna throw that out of the Ziploc, put my cell phone in it, all right? And then I think there's there's a spare set of soccer cleats in here, so I should be fine if my shoes get wet. I'm just jumping. At this point, I fixed my phone. I'm jumping in.
All right. Your phone is protected. You're jumping in.
Good.
Okay. All right. Victor.
Victor takes a moment because he realizes that he doesn't exactly know where this portal goes. He's just assuming. But he then climbs up on the rocks and turns backwards towards the portal, holds his breath, and just falls in.
All right. Victor, I'm going to have you make a roll. Since you're the one that found the portal, you're going to roll 2 dice for me. I don't know that there's anything you can add to this, but you're welcome to make an argument for either your childhood aptitude or your adult vocation. If anybody else had done anything to try and assist with a ritual or focus this, I would let them roll as well. This is not a punishment. I'm not saying bad for you all. I'm just saying I don't know that there's any way anybody else could influence this roll that you're about to make.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About that. While it's a quote-unquote bane, wouldn't self-destructive be a bonus here? Because you're jumping into an unknown portal?
It would actually be a bane. And I think that is appropriate for me to trigger. So I will spend a point of threat. That is good. You do not want me sitting on a lot of threat. However, you're going to roll 3 dice and take the worst 2.
They're all 2s. So 4.
They're all 2s. So that is a 4. All right. Do you want to mark stress to re-roll any of those? You can do that if you want to.
Yeah, can I mark 2 stress and re-roll 2?
2 of them? Yeah, because, you'd have to re-roll 2, or else you're still only going to get a 4.
It's still 4. It's 3 and a 1.
All right. Okay. So let's see where you end up. All right. So one by one you hit the water. Like, it's spread out a little bit, right? But you hit the water, and it is incredibly cold water in a cave in the Pacific Northwest in the autumn. All right, it's not snow melt cold, but it's pretty cold, and you do get wet. You are holding your breath, and right at that moment where it's like, oh no, this was a terrible idea. I am going to drown here. Nobody's going to know where we are. You can breathe again. You can breathe again because you are falling not through water anymore, but through the sky. So there are clouds. There are clouds rushing past, and you can see like the ground coming up. You are falling and falling. Nobody has a parachute, and you realize that you are starting to slow down as you are falling, and you are looking out, and it is like you probably saw a map of Eidolon from when you were here as kids, and you are seeing the map of Eidolon, only it's really Eidolon laid out in front of you as you are falling closer to it. But you feel the wind rushing past, and the clouds, and you are slowing down, and you realize that you are headed towards the Sky Islands. Only they're not a vibrant, lush place like they were the first time you were here, with waterfalls falling off of them, and the Pelagos, there. They are, what buildings there were have been destroyed and burned down. This was clearly the site of an army moving in and taking over, and new sort of barrack-like structures and fortifications have been built up, and you realize you are falling into you're falling into the center of the enemy's stronghold here. But you're not going to splat into the ground, because whatever magic is holding the Sky Islands up actually is slowing you down as you fall towards them. So you do sort of land in a heap, but not in a bone-breaking, splattering heap. A little bit off to the side, and we'll give you a break and say you're actually you fall into some bushes and some dead bushes and trees, sort of at the edge of this fortification. Still inside the palisade walls, but probably like on an alley where they throw garbage and whatnot. Yeah, land in a big pile of garbage. We'll go that. All right, that's the way it goes. You land in a big pile of garbage. So, what do you do?
All right, everybody sound off.
Yeah, I'm here. Ugh.
I've had worse, but that wasn't fun.
That went better than expected.
Better? You think this is good? Did you see?
What were you expecting?
Honestly, to go splat.
Wait a minute, you thought we was gonna go splat, and you jumped in anyways?
No.
We were...
I didn't think that before I jumped in. When we started falling, I thought we was going to go splat. No, before I jumped in, I had no idea where we were going.
No, Victor, somehow that's even worse.
Okay, now, to be fair to Victory, I'm the one who dove in first. Y'all followed me. So, it worked out-ish. Definitely
Now
different than I
what?
remember. Well, considering the state we left things in, things look like they might be the best.
Okay.
Did it look like this when we left, or was this just a
No.
battle? How close to the edge of the island are we?
You would have to get outside the walls.
Okay, so we're in the walls.
You're inside the walls. You're inside and these are wooden walls that are sort of blackened and tarred. If you think of a Western style military fort, kind of with the tall pickets that are just logs that are sharpened on one end, and so you are inside this sort of fortification. You would have to get outside the walls to get to the edge of the island to jump off. The good news is that there's actually a gate right here, and it's not a guarded gate, but it's like, oh well, you could open the gate to push the garbage out, right? Once it gets too overwhelming, and just dump it off of the edge. So there's a big like double door gate that's got bars, logs, beams barring it closed. But there's not a guard tower standing over it or anything like that. You do hear marching feet behind you, of a squad of soldiers marching, and off in the distance you hear like the roaring of some mythical beast. More than one, like the kennels of the mythical beasts are not so terribly far from you.
Don't like that.
I think we need to go now.
Yeah, that's probably right.
See if we can get this gate open. So Nathan, like, quickly, but not sprinting, or he's still sort of wiping garbage off and putting his shoes back on, is like hopping over towards the door to try and get it open.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it's a big, heavy beam to lift up. So you could probably lift it, like if all four of you lift it together, you can probably lift it out of the gate. If you're going to try and use magic or something like that, you can't use magic because you don't have your spell book yet. You all do not have your artifact on you. Only whatever you were wearing / carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so a question about this world. Are there other humans in this world, or we stand out because we're the only humans?
You stand out because you're the only humans. There are the Nadirians, which are human-like, but they have one greatly exaggerated feature. So you could easily disguise yourself as Nadirians, but you are the chosen ones because you are the children from Earth, right? So you stand out as different from everyone else. So while you are over there at the gate, right, trying to figure out how are we going to lift this up, you hear some voices behind you. And one of them says, well, none of these worked for the ritual. Toss them in the trash with the rest of them. And you hear some sort of thumps of items being tossed into the garbage. Nobody seems to notice you. It's dark. It's nighttime. You are just blending in as more stuff to be thrown away.
All right.
So
Definitely interested. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, turning with a a sense of dread toward what just got thrown on the pile.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm very curious. I'm like instantly going to be looking over there. Oh boy, what is it? What's over there? What is it? Can we use it? Is it scary?
I mean, this things throwing things might be scary. We might want to keep our voices down just a little bit, y'all. Not ready to fight just yet.
Yes.
But
does anybody try and figure out what the? I mean, they're walking away now, in the dark, in the shadow of this alleyway. Is anybody going to try and figure out what those things are that are the guards, or are you focused just on the stuff that they threw?
Yeah,
I'm focused on the stuff. Sure.
Lainey's gonna try and figure out what was doing the throwing.
Okay.
Or who.
All right.
Just kind of sticking to the wall. It's good.
So there's no spot checks or anything like this in this game. I am going to give you a little bit of information. If you want more information, you would make a seek the truth move, and then you can ask questions. I don't believe, do we have a, no, we do not have a watcher. The watcher special move doesn't apply here. The quill also has the ability to seek the lore through their book to try and learn information. But that's a special case. So what you see is they are squat creatures with long limbs, about 3 to 4 feet tall. They walk with sort of a wide, bouncy gait. They are not wearing shoes, and you hear their feet sort of slap on the ground as they walk. But they are wearing very, very basic uniforms of dark tabards and cloaks, and so they don't look armored. Is what I'm getting at. So if you want to know more than that, you would have to get closer to them, or you would have to make a move, because you're looking at them in the dark, in the shadows. For those of you digging through the garbage, you realize that they have thrown away books. Old, thick books of different sizes. It is dark, so you can't really read them, but feeling them, you can, I mean, they are definitely handmade sort of books. Like, they've got deckled edges, they've got some ornamentation on them. These feel like special books. They're not paperbacks that didn't sell at Target that they just tossed in the trash, right? They've got some history to them.
I think Lainey is very curious about these creatures, trying to identify them. She's going to seek the truth.
Okay. All right. So you are going to make a move. You're going to give me a roll here. Just like always, if your aptitude or your vocation applies, you can get a +1.
I don't think her vocation would apply. I can't see imaginative working in her favor here either.
All right. Yep. I'm not going to argue it for you.
It probably could be argued that it could. I just can't see it applying to this specific situation.
All right. Roll some dice for me.
Oh, it's a 7.
That's a 7. So that is a costly success. That is good, though, because that is a success. As always, you are allowed to spend stress if you want to reroll. You do not have to. And eventually, if you keep spending stress on rerolls, you're going to run out of it when you need it. On a 7, you would ask one of the following questions from the move list there, and you would get to add a hope to the table. So this is one of those points where hope comes in, getting more of it. And the questions you can ask are, what am I missing here, or what is not obvious about the situation? What is something here I can use to my advantage? What is the most direct way out of this situation? What is something new, interesting, or secret I can learn about X? What recently occurred here? Is Target being honest? What's their motivation? Does not apply, obviously. So you will pick one question, but you will also have to take a consequence.
I think in this specific situation, finding the best way out of here is the priority more than anything. So what is the best way out of here as she's looking at?
All right. So, I'm going to give you two options, because you're specifically sort of looking at them and it seems like you could probably follow them back to barracks or wherever they are going, which would probably have easier doors outside of the fortifications, right? Because if you need to get your army out to defend it, then you need ways to do that. So you could possibly follow them. And it seems like they are done with their work for the day. Whatever they are, they're done. So they are heading somewhere. That's not necessarily the most direct way out of the situation, though. The most direct way out of the situation is do not follow them, get this door open, and find a way down from the Sky Islands, right? But you kind of already knew that. So it's definitely, if you follow them, you will be going deeper into the fortifications, deeper into this stronghold. They might have a way out. They might have information for you if you were able to corner one of them. But the most direct way would be ignore them, open the gate, and jump down. You do have to mark a consequence, which can be you take stress. You could take harm. Mechanically, you never want to take harm unless you have to. Harm gives you penalties to your rolls. Okay, so if you've got stress, it's always better to mark stress than it is to take harm. You can give me a threat. I would love to have it. So that can be your consequence. You give me a threat. Or you can ask for a trade-off, meaning I tell you something bad that happens. You decide whether that's going to be your consequence or something else is going to be one of the other mechanical things. So you can always ask for the trade-off first and see what I offer. And then if you don't like that, you can go with one of the other things.
I'm going to see what the trade-off is, because that seems like the fun one.
They're gonna spot you. Like that's the trade-off. They're gonna one of them's gonna look over his shoulder, and as you've sort of crept a little bit closer to see what's going on, the light's gonna hit you just right. So they're gonna see you. They're gonna see that somebody's there.
Am I the only one that they see, though, right?
You would be the only one that they would see.
I can always run.
All right, so you're taking that trade-off.
I'm taking the trade-off.
All right, you all did get one hope on the table. Good for that, because you're probably going to need it. All right.
Need it.
Okay, what are the rest of you doing?
So, remembering my skills as a quill, I can read any of the writing in this realm. So there are books. How many of those books can I grab and fit in my backpack? I
would say your REI backpack.
Yeah.
If you toss something out, you could fit all three of them that they threw.
Okay. Yeah, he pulls out like he got fleeced by the salesman and like, yeah, get all this stuff. He didn't know where he was going, so he's like, all right. Yeah, I don't need the long underwear and the trekking poles or whatever. So he grabs a couple things out of there and tosses them on the pile of garbage, grabs the books and stuffs them in the bag.
All right. As you stuff the third book in the bag, you feel a connection made. All right. You feel like part of your soul that you have been missing for 20 years has just come back. Like you lost a dog and it's been gone for 20 years and there it is suddenly on your doorstep again, wagging its tail, happy to see you. You have picked up your magic artifact and put it in your bag. And you feel that, you know that, and there is, as you make that connection, there is a slight glow / flash of light from your bag.
Nathan is frozen for a moment, and this gasp escapes him as this happens, and he looks up with some actual emotion in his face, first time you've seen in a long time, and he's smiling. Guys, and then he sees these creatures turn around and notice Lainey.
All right. Before we get to them, yes, that is all happened. What are the other two of you doing? You can see that flash of light. You can see him you can see that's what lights up the expression on his face. For the briefest moment, he is illuminated, and you can see,
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the books, honestly, just curious to see. And then, Nathan was like, "Oh, look, it's the." I'm like, "Ah, great, cool. Oh no, like I'm on board with whatever he's doing. I don't know. I'm not in support of whatever Lainey's doing, but I can see it happening, and I'm not happy about it.
All right.
I was supporting the book adventure.
And Victor?
Victor's going to look and see that Laney is about to be spotted. They are going to be spotted. And he just shakes his head a little bit and smiles because he's like, let's have some fun. And we'll run to join Laney.
Okay. All right. So you are running to join Laney. The other two are back with the books. Laney, as you have crept closer and they are starting to walk away, one of them just glances back, hears something, glances back over his shoulder, and it's like, "Wait, what? Who are you? What are you doing here?" And then Victor runs up beside you.
Oh, looking at Victor. Do we answer or do we just run? Grab the other two.
Run.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not going to do voices in this stream, but it's a froglin. Like they are froglins. They have a sort of croaky voice for you. Yeah, you turn and then running.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Running where?
Away from Nathan and Marianne.
Oh,
is
okay.
What the direction that Laney takes.
All right.
Giving them some time to find whatever they need to do to get safe.
Okay.
Laney is going to be like, "Hi, didn't expect to be here so soon. Bye." Whoosh.
Okay. So you are running more into the so away from them, which would be into the fortress here.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to? Are you making a beeline for the center? Or are you sort of kind of skirting the edges and hoping to lose these guys?
I'm skirting the edges
and circle back. Okay. All right. Okay. And Victor, you following?
Yeah. When Laney's like, "Bye," Victor's just like, and follows.
Okay. We're gonna do a little chase here, because they are going to chase you. They are not going to. No, I take that back. One of them is going to chase you. The other one is going to split off because they are bad guys now. So one of them is going to split off, probably to go get other reinforcements. This is not combat, right? Nobody is trying to hit anything yet or hurt anything yet. So we are not in a battle. We are in what is known as a contest. All right. So I told the players at the beginning of the game. I don't think we said it on the stream. Combat in this game is always a battle, and it's structured in 3 rounds. So there's only ever 3 rounds of combat. That means if you get in a fight, you're making moves. Your moves are bigger moves that incorporate, tides of battle, and the combat is going to end, right, within 3 rounds. So it's never going to be a game of we spent the entire time rolling to hit the monster at the table. That's not going to happen. The only time you enter combat, though, is when people are actually fighting and trying to hurt each other. Contests is what covers everything else. So you are trying to make a move to get away from these guys, stay ahead of them, sort of lead them away, right? That's your goal here, Laney?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she's...
All right.
She's already got their attention. She doesn't need to get it anymore. But if she can keep them from figuring out that there are the others with her...
Yeah.
Then she's going to do so.
All right. Believe it or not, this is probably obscure the details. You are trying to keep the other group hidden, and one of the ways you can do that is by keeping the focus on you. So if you're not trying to attack them or hurt them or throw them over the walls, you're just trying to lead them on this little little chase, and the stated goal is so they don't notice the other guys. That would be an obscure the details move.
That works.
All right, and before you do that, because Victor is also in this, Victor, are you going to try and assist with that, or are you splitting off to go after the other guy that's running away? Probably to call for reinforcements.
I think at this point, Victor would go after the other one to try to stop them.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna resolve Lainey and Victor's moves, and then if the other two of you want to make a move, you absolutely can. But we are not in combat yet. So, Lainey, your obscure the details roll.
Yes.
Now, can your aptitude or vocation apply here?
I can make an argument for her aptitude. She can be very, including finding like those little nooks and crannies. Don't think a person could fit, but she's, while not being the small fry, is small enough that she can like wiggle her way into weird spaces. So if she can lead them on a mere chase, she's going to.
Yeah.
She also lived on a ship for the last 15 years. She can parkour. She's used to it.
Yeah. That one was obvious. Like, yeah, running through ship corridors, jumping over people, right? So I'm gonna say it's a little bit of a stretch, but yes, you're gonna get a +2. You get a +1 from each of them.
Okay.
Do you have a tether that you want to use? You would spend a hope and roll 3 dice, take the best 2. And then I'm going to ask you what your banes are, because I'm sitting on threat, so.
I'm not going to use the tether.
Okay.
The bane, because the one that was marked as burned counts when I train or befriend a creature from the realm.
That one doesn't.
When faced with an actual monster or nightmare made real, and the self-destructive when taking the safer, cautious approach.
No, none of those apply. So I can't spend threat to make them. So you're going to roll 2 dice, and you're going to get +2 to this, and let's see how you do.
All right. Well, that is a 10 on the die, so that is 12.
Yes, not a natural 12, so you will not recover a stress, but you cannot get any better than that. Mechanically. So you get to pick 2 of the mechanical effects from the list on Obscure the Details. One of them really should be you're drawing attention away from them and onto you. So you get to pick what the other one is.
Knowledge and joy from my friends and onto myself. I can say I pocket or steal without getting caught, if that could be one of them.
Yeah, because you don't have anything on you. What do you grab as you're running?
The closest thing that feels like either a staff or a stick, something that she could at least get into her 2-hand positions with, even if it isn't a sword. If it can feel like a sword, she's going for it.
All right. Okay. So all those things that I told Nathan about his feeling, yes, you pick up. You're running by like a barrel, right? And you just reach out for something poking out of that barrel, and thinking, oh, that's a shovel or something of the sort. And it just feels right. Like as you pick it up and swing it in position, that is not a shovel. You have made a connection with your artifact, and you have your sword, and back in your hand. And there is that momentary flash of light as your soul that's held in the artifact reconnects with the rest of you, and you have your magical artifact again.
Rush.
And are running and are leading them, no problem. They have no clue that your friends are back there digging through the trash.
I mean, she very much made a flashy attention-getting move.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, and Victor.
Okay.
So what are you doing here?
Victor is veered off going after the other one to try to stop them from getting help. So from what I understand, this would be to lead the charge roll.
Yes, so it would be a lead the charge. You're trying to change the situation. If you are leading the charge, because it could also be hold the line. Hold the line stops him from doing something he wants to do. So lead the charge. The way you could do this is lead the charge would be you're knocking him down. You're knocking him out, inflicting harm on him. You are taking something away from him, or grabbing him and scaring him. Holding.
I had a different thought.
Yeah.
I had a different thought on lead the charge, because one of the things is lower an adversary's resolve without harming them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we remembered in history? Because his people were once free.
They were. Yeah. So taking a more social bent.
Yeah.
Like, wait. I'll let you say what you're gonna say, but yeah, absolutely. You could. That is totally an application here. Let's make your roll. Let's see how it goes, because that may inform what you say to him.
For my tether, I have that protecting Nathan. When he was in school.
That would not apply here, because you are not in combat. You're not specifically blocking someone from attacking Nathan. The other time that will apply is if Nathan has fallen out of the action, which is what happens when you take too much harm, and you are avenging his fallen nature. That would apply.
Okay. And my bane is where I changed the tether to the bane about stepping in when other people are in trouble.
I am not going to trigger that one either. I might need my threat here in a moment. Well, does your aptitude or your vocation apply here? Probably not your vocation of a forester.
Yeah, I don't think either one would apply here.
All right. Straight up roll. 2 dice. Let's see what you get.
Nine.
A 9. Okay, a 9 is a costly success, so you do succeed. You'll get an effect and you'll get a consequence. You are able to spend a mark of stress to re-roll if you want to, but you do not have to. So, what do you say to him? How does this play out? What does this look like?
I think that Victor catches up to him and spins him around to look at him, and then be like, look at me. Does your history tell of us that came before? Once your people were free, and we're back to make sure they will be free again.
All right. And your stated mechanical effect is lower his resolve without hurting him, right? You're not...
Yes.
Yeah, you're not running him through or anything. Okay. You also have to take a consequence. So you are going to succeed in lowering his resolve. Do you choose to mark stress? Take harm. You never want to take harm if you still have stress. Do you give me a threat to spend later, or do you take a trade-off here, or ask for a trade-off? And I would tell you what that trade-off is.
What's the trade-off?
The trade-off is he's gonna scream, "Holy crap, the Chosen Ones are back."
See, that may not be a bad thing. Maybe, stoke the fires of those people that are downtrodden. Let's go with that, yeah.
All right, okay. So he screams, he turns around, he spins around, you look in his eyes, right? You say to your... And at first it doesn't quite click, because you're not a kid, right? You're a grown-up. and then it clicks. Like there's been these two flashes of light. He's looking at you. You're telling him who he is, and he screams, "Holy crap! The Chosen Ones are back!" Stiffens up and passes out, and just falls over. You reduced his resolve to 0, so he's out of the action. Like boom, he went down. So you all probably only have moments left before somebody comes to investigate that. All right, Nathan and Marianne.
Is it safe to assume we heard that scream?
Yes, you absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we have one of those kind of like turn slowly and look at each other moments, like, oh crap.
Yeah, no, I would definitely be like, all right, listen, I don't know what they're doing. We got to get that door open, and there's only 2 of us. So I'm going to look for something in this garbage that's going to work as like a, counter balance to get that thing up. Want to help me look? Because I'm feeling like we're going to have to get out that door sooner rather than later. I'm going to root around in the garbage. Or some kind of, I don't know.
Yes.
Stick.
Yep.
Small stick.
Mhm.
Anything that I can use as leverage.
I would say probably in the garbage it's very easy to find like a broken broom or something that could possibly work. You're not going to find like a good sturdy crowbar because it's not something they would throw out, right? But something you could use as leverage, maybe even like a dented big pot lid. So you've got some things that you could definitely use as leverage. I would like you to roll 1 die for me. I'm just looking whether the number is even or odd here.
Okay. And it's a 5, so odd.
Odd. Okay. So, as you are pulling things out, one of the things that you pull out is a cloak. And it has you would recognize it, okay? Because it has not tattered or frayed. It has no stains from garbage on it. It is absolutely Victor's cloak, right? You don't feel a connection to it. Nothing magical happens. But you pull it out, and there's a memory of you recognize this. And you're pretty sure because it doesn't look like garbage. And it's towards the bottom of the pile. Like, it should look like garbage, right? So you find that, and you do find something to leverage the door open.
Okay.
So what do you do with that information, or do you all want to roll to get this door open?
I feel like Victor's very far from me at this point because they're running. So I don't know if I could get that to him. I'd like to get the door open personally.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll help with that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Who's taking the lead on this move? This would be a lead the charge. You're trying to defeat a static obstacle. All right. So, Marianne, Autumn has taken the lead. Nathan, is there something you can do to assist with this? And you would be able to make the provide assistance move. Unless there's something else you want to do.
No, I think provide assistance, so helping to, brace the pivot point while she, grabs the lever and applies it to the bar, something like that.
All right. Wonderful. Okay, so you're gonna do your move first because it is provide assistance to see if you can give a bonus over there to Autumn. So going down the checklist again, does your aptitude or vocation apply here? I'm gonna say accountant, probably not.
Unless I've taken enough math to know the appropriate point to, put a lever together. But I bet,
since you're making the math argument, I will give it to you.
All right.
Because it is just physics. So yeah, if you since you specifically went with the math argument, you can have a +1. What is What is your childhood aptitude?
Nimble.
Probably not.
No.
Like, that would be too much of a stretch. We'll give you the +1. No problem there. What are your tethers? Do you have a tether you think applies here? Because I don't need to know all of them.
No, I don't think I have a tether that applies, but I do think I have a bane that could, which is when you need to stand up to something bigger.
Not quite the spirit. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. This is a rule we have not talked about. You all are always allowed to trigger your own banes and force me to spend threat. Just like you cannot spend your last hope without permission, you can't spend my last threat without me giving the okay. But since I have 2, if you wanted to say, you know what, no, this gate really is much bigger than me and I'm feeling intimidated by it, I'm spending your threat to trigger my own bane, you can do that. It is allowed. In the metagame, there are reasons you would want to do that, right? Keeping threat out of my hands is a good thing. At this point, mechanically, I don't know that it would be the best move for you to make. Right?
No, so we'll do a roll with a +1 and see what happens.
Roll with +1. 2 dice with a +1.
So I got a 7 on the dice, so an 8 total.
An 8. That is a success. It is a costly success, so you will get 1 effect and 1 consequence. Your effects are... So you are helping, right? You are mathing it and showing, oh, well, here, put that here, and this is where you lift. So you can either pass a +1 on to Autumn's move. You can give Autumn a point of reflection. Not going to matter since we're not playing a campaign. You can add a hope to the pool, or if Autumn has stress, this can help Autumn remove a point of stress. Autumn, do you have stress? No. All right.
I'll give Marianne the +1, because that's the whole point of me assisting.
That's the whole point of you assisting. Yep. You do have to take a consequence. So you either mark your own stress, give me a threat, or ask for a trade-off. I'm going to tell you on provide assistance, there's often not a trade-off. I don't know what the trade-off here would be.
No, I think stress makes the most sense, so I'll take a point of stress.
All right. I could say, oh, your trade-off is you slip and fall in the garbage, making a bunch of noise, but that's kind of like you're not really doing the work. So, all right. So, Autumn, you get to make your move. You automatically start with a +1. What is your aptitude and vocation? Do either one of those apply here?
I mean, both probably tinker and mechanic, would knowing how.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. You're going in with a +3.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
And
all right. So how many dice is that?
That's 2 dice, unless you want to activate a tether.
I mean the tether. No, I think this is right. So
I do believe you have a bane I could activate here when you don't have the proper tools for the job.
That's true. Yes.
Actually, I'm just pointing it out. I'm not gonna activate.
No. You're right. You're totally right. You're totally right.
I actually need my threat. So I would like to hang on to my threat for what is probably going to need to happen next. As a GM, the GM makes moves in Powered by Apocalypse when it makes sense for the story, but I can also spend threat to do specific moves. Some of my moves cost threat to activate them. There is a move that I'm probably going to need to make that costs threat. So there you go. You can make your rolls. Now, just like I told Jamin, you can spend my threat for me and say, no, this bane absolutely applies. I'm trying to lift this with a broom handle and a pot lid. I'm going to take the penalty. But then you would have a penalty.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. All right. So, okay. That was
2 dice.
Rolling 3. 2 dice plus
2 dice
1, right?
plus 3.
So that's 8, 9, 10, 11.
All right. You managed to lift the bar up, like math and levers and all of that, and just your pure stubborn strength. You managed to lift the bar up. You are going to get the gate open. You get to pick 2 effects, no consequence. One of those effects does need to be defeat a static obstacle, because you did just do that. So the other one is your bonus. This was a lead the charge move, so you could choose to inflict harm somehow. You could take something tangible. You could make a statement about how the environmental situation changes and add a hope to the table. Like the fact that you've gotten the door open, that gives everybody hope you have an escape route now, right? So that is up to you. That's the most obvious one.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's it's a big door. You can see that it's open from wherever you're standing. I'm sure.
Yeah, right. So now you all have 3 hope. Now you're in a very hopeful place with hope to spend. All right. So to recap here of everything that's happened. Running from the Froglin guard, keeping its attention on Lainey. Lainey discovers their artifact, their great sword, stuck in a barrel, being used probably just as a doorstop occasionally. So made that connection, got that back. You still have a Froglin chasing you though. Victor spun the other one around, scared the crap out of him. He screams, oh my god, the Chosen Ones are back. Holy crap, the Chosen Ones are back. They probably don't worship any sort of god that normally doesn't appear in children's fantasy literature unless you're C.S. Lewis. And then passes out and falls over. Nate maths his way through, and Marianne both finds the cloak in the garbage, but then opens the gate, and it's open and clearly standing open. You all have a way out. And I'm going to say from where you all have positioned doing your parkour around the barracks and the walls and stuff, you can see that the gate is open. And Victor, all you would have to do is turn around and you can see, oh, the gate is open. So what do you all do? Let's start actually with Lainey, because Lainey, you still do have a Froglin chasing you. So what are you doing?
Oh. Now that I have my artifact in my hand, I'm going to hold the line here to give the other 3 a chance to get out the door before I follow.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. All right. So you're going to make your move here.
I'm going to make my move here.
If your aptitude or tether applies, imaginative probably not.
Ship stuff, no. I mean, the way she plants herself is more from, her previous training than running around on a rocking ship for years on end.
So if you have a tether, you got hope. You can absolutely use it, and you also have access to your gifts. And your special move probably doesn't apply here because you're just facing off with one Froglin.
And I don't exactly want to cause them full harm.
Right. You would massacre this one Froglin using your special move.
Yeah.
So.
So, I think. Yeah, I think I'm not going to spend a hope just yet. Actually, yeah, I'm going to spend the hope.
All right, what's the
engage. Tether? Kind of flashing back to just getting into like some of her earliest training. That engaging with that external magic, like dealing with the Thorn Witches, dealing with the first time she her sword.
Yes. Yeah. So because this is the first time you've picked up your sword in 20 years, absolutely, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So spending the hope, you're going to roll 3 dice. That was the wrong side. There we go. I cannot, once you've spent hope to activate a tether that blocks Banes, I can't do anything to reverse that. So you're rolling 3 dice, taking the best 2. You're not adding any pluses to it.
Yeah. Whoop. Okay, I don't know what that dice rolled, so that is 11 on the die.
There you go. So you state what you're trying to do to keep things the same, right? You're trying to give them time to escape. You already did that. So you're buying them time. And then you do get to pick 2 mechanical effects. You can pick the same mechanical effect twice on this move. So you can prevent a target's move from resolving this round. His move was really just chasing you, right? So there's not really anything to prevent there. You can make a statement about how the environmental situation stays the same and place more hope on the table. You can restrain an adversary. And that doesn't mean you have to hold him. You could just be holding him at bay, and that is enough to remove his resolve here.
Yeah. I think I'm going to restrain him. Do I get the 2?
You get 2 effects.
I am going to restrain him, and I'm also going to add hope to the table by kind of enkindling that hope in this particular Proglin. He's just like, wait a second here. The Chosen Ones are back. This one is pointing a very magical word at me that just flashed in her hand.
Right?
And I mean, she probably like did that whole like magical hair thing, only her hair is too short to actually kind of ruffles.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just like, ooh, that they are back. We are back. And he is just like, oh, they are back.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, proving it.
Yeah. So that is going to remove all of his resolve. He's not going to pass out. He's going to drop to his knees, begging for his life. Oh, please don't hurt me. I didn't mean to be bad. It's just, you've been gone for so long, and it's kind of the only job opportunity here. So if I wasn't bad, I would get beat up, and they would eat me and kill me, and I would have to live in all by myself. And so please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I won't.
Calm down. Just let us get out of here, and we'll get you out of here soon.
Okay. Someone else. You all have a moment to what do you do?
I think Victor would like to seek the truth.
All right. What are you looking for here, Victor?
What's the best way out of this situation? Because he knows that guy just screamed really loud.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make you make a roll here because Kori already kind of did that same exact move, looking for the same exact information. I don't think there's any new information to find. The gate is open. That's gonna be your best way out now for absolutely sure. Is going out that gate. I will add to that, still without a roll. Maybe grabbing some garbage or something to use as sort of a parachute on your way down might be beneficial, because you're headed towards the edge of the Sky Islands. So if you really want to go over the edge and get out, you're going to need some sort of glider material like you all did last time.
That's why I was picking the best way out of this situation, because part of the situation includes having to go over the edge.
Yeah. So, but on that move, only if there's like new information to uncover, and I don't know that there's really any new information you can uncover. That said, actually, there is one piece of new information to uncover, because only 3 of your artifacts have been found. So your heart does not have their artifact back. So there is actually a reason here to seek the truth.
Okay.
Now that I remember
I'm observant.
That's going to give you a +1. Yeah.
So, be good. 7.
A 7 is going to be a costly success. You are going to succeed.
I'm going to take a stress and reroll the 1.
Okay.
All right.
That's 10.
Okay. Well, that is a a solid success. On Seek the Truth, you get to ask 3 questions from the list. You can reword them slightly to fit your specific need, and you either get to add a hope to the table or take a threat out of my pool.
Okay. So I asked 3 questions and then pick hope or threat.
Yep.
Just make sure I understand.
Yep. So your questions are: what am I missing here? What's not obvious? What is something I can use to my advantage? What is the most direct way out of the situation? What is something new, interesting, or secret I can learn? What recently occurred here? And is target being honest? What is target's motivation? That one barely applies here. Probably, unless you ask 2 questions, you're like, I got nothing else to ask, right? Right.
Well, the first thing, Victor, would be like, what am I missing? What is not obvious? There's something else going on here.
Yeah. What was not obvious is the guard that you made him pass out he has an amulet hanging around his neck. It was tucked down under his shirt. And that is not a fraudulent piece of jewelry. All right. That is something way above his station as a guard on some Sky Island edge of the outpost here. And it looks shiny and nice and it's not going to glow, but so that is he's wearing something he shouldn't be wearing.
Right.
So that's question 1.
What is something new I can learn about this necklace? Like, do I recognize it? Like, that's...
Yeah, I'm not going to make you waste a question on that. Yeah, it's definitely the hearts locket.
Okay. In that case, yoink.
Yeah.
What is something here that I can use to my advantage to get us all off this place?
Sure.
They're like a giant lettuce leaf or whatever.
Well, yeah. So all the vegetation here has died, right? They are not like keeping up with the natural environment here. But in the garbage, there are, there would not be plastic garbage bags, right? There's not going to be that to use as a parachute. However, you do notice there's like some torn sort of oil cloth from something, and there are sheets of metal, like flattened sort of thin metal. So there are things that you could grab to sort of use as a buffer. They're not awesome, but because they're garbage, but there are things absolutely you could grab to sort of slow your fall, sort of guide you down, maybe not just plummet. A lot of fingers and toes crossed that the magic holding the islands up is going to slowly help you down. All right, you got one more question.
What's recently occurred here? There was something about I heard something about a ritual.
Yes. Yeah. So what has recently occurred here? What you can gather by them throwing out, they basically throwing out books of lore. They are searching for artifacts. They're searching for items that still have magical power in them, to use for this summoning ritual. It clicks back like this is sort of something they were working on your first time through. Was they were stealing power from things so that they could bring this great evil down to a physical form. They haven't succeeded at that yet, even though the realm is ruined, even though they're still working on it. So you all still have a chance to reverse this here. All right. So that was your 3 questions. Do you want to put hope in the pool, which could be useful if you're all about to jump off of a floating sky island? Do you want to take threat from me, which will thwart the move I was about to make?
You seemed a little too giddy about the move you're about to make, so yeah, we're going to yoink a threat.
Yeah, we're gonna yoink a threat. Bye. Add an unexpected adversary to the scene.
See if it was a flying monster that could have gone
Oh yeah,
okay for us actually.
Yeah. No, there was a monster that was gonna climb right up on the other side, but not anymore because I don't have the threat to do that. Unless you all did something obvious in the story that was like, oh, we're gonna go run to the monster pens. Well, then I don't have to spend threat to add a monster to the scene. You all just did that.
Well, so Nathan was trying to remember, what he knew about this land. Are there were there any flying creatures on this island, flying monsters that he might be able to hypnotize to get to carry them down?
I would say, let's see, what did you all? Nightmares, Fear, Rage, and Monstrous Beast. I would say absolutely there are flying monsters. They were sort of the elite of the Vassal's troops. Like, they weren't something that you would call in all the time. They weren't dragons. They were something Nightmare and Fear. They were like I wish I was looking at the chat because I'm sure chat's throwing out ideas here of what these monsters were. What were these monsters? Remember your own game, Robert. Ask the players questions. Yeah, so there was definitely something that was the elite of the forces there that they were able to sort of. I mean, it was the Army's Air Force essentially. Something fearful, nightmarish. So, Jamin, what were those? What do you remember those being?
Well, manticores are flying, sort of the opposite of griffins, right? They have scorpion tails and bat wings.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they could totally be manticores. And that is, I mean, a flying scorpion is pretty terrifying. So, yeah. So you do remember that being a thing. Maybe not the best option for your method down, but those exist.
Okay. Yeah, no. They're big and scary. Nathan's definitely kind of like, no, that's not a... As a last resort, sure. We managed to cobble together flying machines to get out of here before, so maybe we can do that again.
Yeah, let's make parachutes. You start grabbing and I'll start stapling or whatever I can do. Let's make them. Let's go. I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to let you each make a... This is probably a provide assistance move to make these things for you all to use to get out of here. That's probably the best move to cover this. Because you're making stuff, right? You're not grabbing something and jumping over the edge. You're taking a moment to prepare. As you were taking the moment to prepare, that shout of "Holy crap, the Chosen Ones are back!" That has echoed. It's not being picked up, right? It's not more voices adding to it, but it echoed just a little bit, and a light flicks on, right? Somebody has lit a torch down by the barracks, and it calls back out, "What? What did you say?" And then another torch a little bit further in. So the fortress is starting to wake up. Let's both of you make a separate provide assistance roll to see how well you do grabbing the appropriate things and figuring out how you're going to fly with it. Mechanic absolutely would give you a +1 here, Autumn.
Okay.
I'd like to argue that nimble is helpful when putting things together and climbing up and down this pile of garbage to find stuff.
I absolutely think so. So that's a +1 from each of you. If you want to argue for more pluses, I'm happy to hear it. Tethers.
forestry would come into play, looking at the environment around us about where's the best place to land.
Yes, we're going to get to that in just a second. Because your move was actually seeking the truth to figure out. But I am with you. You're going to get a bonus for landing in a safe spot. All right. Anything else you all want to add? I'm holding on to my threat so you all can see what happens when I have threat at the end of the session. Because that's a kind of cool thing I want to show the audience here. All right, what'd you get, Autumn? It doesn't look good.
No, with my +1, it's a 4. That's why I made that face.
You can mark stress to re-roll a die.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, that brings me up to a 7.
A 7 is a success. It's a costly success, but it is a success.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So you can either remove 1 stress from somebody else at the table. Because, oh, great, now we got a parachute thing to grab onto. I'm not just jumping to my death, right? That's less stressful. You can give one person a +1 to their next move, or you can add a hope to the pool.
I think I'd like to remove stress from somebody, but I don't know who has.
So who has stress?
I've got 1.
I have 1 or 2. I think Tyr has the most out of all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
'cause I've
got
only
like-
got 1.
Okay, I will
Yeah.
take one of your stresses away. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. And Jamin, what'd you get?
I rolled a 10.
A 10! All right. So you pick
Yay.
2 success effects. You cannot pick the same result twice on a provide assistance.
Okay. How many stress did you have, Tyr?
I now have 3.
Holy,
Well, dude, yeah, take another stress away, and let's see. Let's add 1 hope to the pool as well.
all right. Hope is that key. All right. Yes. Y'all got some good hope in the pool. All right. Yeah. So the fact that they're able to use stuff like that you pointed out, Tyr, of, oh, we can use this and this and this. That's got to be a good feeling. Like they're listening to you, right? And they're so that stress goes down. All right. I think everybody.
The one thing I would like to inject is that Victor gives Marianne the amulet, like hastily, like here, because it's like that can heal people, and we're about to jump off a cliff.
Right? All right. So Marianne has their amulet back. You feel that connection, that glowing, healing force. And with you, it's like you didn't even realize your throat has sort of hurt and your head has hurt for the last 20 years until it doesn't anymore.
I thought it was just those darn kids. It was actually this thing the whole time.
Right,
Look at that.
right. It was like not only your soul was missing, but part of your vital essence is stored in this thing. So like having that back, it's like, oh, wow, I spent so much money on Advil. And this is what you needed all along. So the only person that has not made a connection yet with their artifact is Victor and his cloak.
Probably hand that back to you, but we're going over a cliff.
Yeah. So you give him back his cloak, right? That's
Yes, I would like to do that.
you probably had to set it down to lever open the gate. And,
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Victor quickly puts it on.
do you step into the shadow realm when you put it on?
Yes.
Yes. You check it out, right? All right. Well, you get to tell me, what does the shadow realm look like when Victor steps into it?
Victor raises the hood to step into the shadow realm. The first thing he hears is the slow cracking as if glass is being separated. From there, he looks out and sees a full moon covering its light over a forest of twisted and gnarled trees. There is a howling in the distance as a large wolf sits on a dais looking down over the valley where the damned of the shadow world dwell.
All right. What everybody else sees is Victor puts his cloak up and he's gone. Right? He's just not there anymore. He has stepped into another place. You also can see sort of reflections of the material world around you. So you do see the edge of the Sky Islands here. You do see you do see the pain of this place, like the destruction, the sadness that has befallen here, the actual shadows that have come here. It's up to you whether or not you see the monsters sort of lurking at the edges of the island or not.
Oh, definitely.
All right. Okay.
I would like to spend a hope and send a message through the shadows.
Yes. Okay.
I wanted to echo the chosen have returned.
Oh,
a whispered message from the shadows.
Yeah. And so you just echo that out through the entire Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
All right.
So much for a stealthy
Because it will
entrance.
hit the material realm.
Yeah.
If I read this right, like these people will be waking up and hear that.
Yes. Absolutely. Anybody that is tuned into the Shadow realm will absolutely hear that. Yeah. You heard a howling of a wolf in the Shadow Realm. Moments later, after you whisper that out, there is a howling that everyone hears. In the material realm, just this pure, nightmarish, this bellow of rage that emanates from the center of the fortress. It's a good way away, but you hear that and it chills your hearts because you have heard that sound before. Victor just woke the vassal of evil up and told him that you all are back in the realm.
Yay!
Yay! Right? So he is awake. What do y'all do? I'm going to suggest that you are heading towards the edge and going over. Because in this game, before you can face the Vassal of Darkness, it is a campaign game. There are certain milestones that you have to reach. Because it's a game about redemption and fixing the past problems. There are certain things you have to do before you can face off with the Vassal of Darkness. So you just from a story standpoint, from a time standpoint, and from a campaign standpoint, we wouldn't want you to see him right now. So
it's enough to hear him.
It's enough to hear him, right? He killed your friend 20 years ago. He hadn't finished the job. So, what do you do?
I know Lainey is probably going to give her little froglin friend, companion, whatever we want to call these people right now. Just gonna give him a kind of like quick little kiss on the top of his head. Tell him, just remember us. Remember that we're here. Wish us luck. And just time to go as she's heading towards and possibly through the other three.
Yep.
As she races towards the edge.
All right. Heading towards the edge. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. Time to get out of here, find a place to hole up, and I can help us, figure out what happened here, and maybe find out if the Sphinx is still alive and can help us.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up and over. And when we get to the bottom, if we're still alive, I've got gummy bears.
There you go. All right. You going, Victor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Victor removes the hood to come back to the realm of the mortals and it's like, well, I think I woke something up. And then jump up here.
All right. All right.
You think so?
That's good though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
So everyone here is going to make their own lead the charge move. Okay. The goal of this move is the obstacle that's facing you is several hundred feet of air. So yeah. Yeah, everybody's going to make their own lead the charge move as they jump off the edge of the Sky Islands. There is not a bonus for the making the stuff. It's kind of what is allowing you to do this, right? So there's no bonus there. You don't get equipment bonuses in this. You can get magic item bonuses, like that are trinkets and things you can find in the world to use one time. So it's pretty much just a straight roll. If you have a aptitude or vocation that helps, if you have a tether that applies, you all have 3 hope to spend. I am not going to trigger any banes on this. The other thing I will let just the chat know and the players know. In Vale, as the chosen ones, you cannot die until the final battle with the vassal. All right? You can break your legs on this fall, right? You could have to spend weeks recuperating, but you have a little bit of story immunity, right? You are going to stay alive for this journey. You might not be in great shape, but something will happen narratively that allows you to keep going, right? All right, so nobody needs to worry about if I fail this roll. It's the death of my character here on Rook and Rasp. Bless you. All right, so everybody go ahead and, well, let me know if you need to argue for an aptitude, vocation, or a tether here.
I'm going to argue for both my vocation and because she has this ghostly independent side. Being a cruise chef, she's been around the world, seen windsurfing before. She's probably done it herself on some, time off if she. So she's going to use her sword as the windsurfing board with this little makeshift parachute. It's an independent weapon. She can control it via whatever magic she has.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Yep. Bonuses. Go for it. Yep. All right. Anybody else arguing for bonuses here? Forrester, yes, you're going to get that +1 from that. We already talked about. Nothing else jumps out at me as.
I mean, Small Fry has the whole being the smallest helps you hide and sneak and squirm, and it could sort of argue that being lighter makes. I could spend a hope or.
That's what it would be. You would spend a hope to activate that tether, and you get to roll 3 dice. You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. So that goes away. Yep. All right. And so you're going to roll 3 dice to take the best 2. Autumn, is there anything you want to go for? You don't have it?
No, there's really nothing I can even spin for you.
All right. Okay. Straight up roll. So everybody rolls. Let's see how you did. Jamin's shaking his head. You on 3 dice, you got a 3.
A 1, a 1, and a 2.
Oh no.
I'm gonna spend some stress.
Yeah, you're gonna want to spend some stress here.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So yeah, I'm gonna spend 2 stress and reroll 2 of those. That's 11.
That's a great time to spend stress. That worked out for you. All right. Actually, he gets to resolve his move. You all would resolve at the same time. But since you rolled first and announced first, there is a possibility you could add hope on the table that could be useful to someone. So you are defeating a static obstacle, but you do get another effect. And the only one that really applies here, there's 2 that apply here. Declare 1 impression a target now has of you, right? You could make that one Froglin really super impressed that you all just jumped off the edge of the Sky Islands, right? Like, so there will be one Froglin out in the world saying, you all are back, and holy crap, they're awesome.
I think adding a hope back to the table makes the
Yeah,
most sense. It's
yeah.
like, hey, hey, the little guy did it. We're
Yes. Yeah. That's the wrong way. So there's that hope back. Okay. Yep. So you're putting hope back in the table. Basically, yeah, they see you going and you've got the wind and you're going where you want to go. All right. Autumn, what'd you get? Because it doesn't look great.
It's a 6.
A 6 is a fail.
Cool.
You want to spend
No.
stress to re-roll?
Yeah. Okay, that's an 8.
An 8 is a success with a cost. All right.
Okay.
So you defeat the
okay.
static obstacle. You are not going to plummet to the ground, but you do have a consequence. You either mark stress, you give me a threat, or you ask for a trade-off.
What's a trade-off?
The trade-off is you're going to land in a bad place. Specifically, you will land in the swamp, the bog.
Bogs.
Yeah, the slime bogs.
You know what? I can get a little more stressed out. Let's take a stress.
Okay, take a stress, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna do Victor last.
Okay.
Kori, what'd you get?
I rolled 7 on the die, plus 2 would be 9. I think I am going to take the gamble of marking out a stress, see if I can get my lower die a little higher. I know it's a success currently, but I want to see if I can get it just by 1. So,
All right.
unless you think that's a bad idea.
Well, I'm going to point out mechanically, you're going to mark a stress to reroll to get 1 point, whereas if you don't get it, you're probably going to end up marking another stress as a consequence. So, if it's worth it to you to pause, you're risking 2 stress for 1 more pip on the die. Totally up to you.
I think I'm going to take that gamble.
Okay, go for it. I love it. Let's see what happens.
Hold on for a second. Gotta make more room on my desk just to make sure, give myself all the advantage I can get. Yeah, that's 8 on the die, so that's a total of 10.
That's a 10. So you bumped it up. You defeat the obstacle, and you get to. Your best bet is really probably adding hope to the table.
Adding hope to the table.
Unless you really want to impress that one Froglin back there that
No.
was begging not to die.
No. I think she already affected him enough. This risks him dying of too much awesome.
Right, he could die too much awesome. All right, Victor, what'd you get?
I got a total of 10 on the dice with my +1 makes it 11.
Awesome. All right.
Nice.
All right, so you succeed. And I had you go last because you specifically wanted to use your forestry here for the lay of the land to find a good place to land. So I'm going to let you guide it. Where do you all end up landing? Like, where do you lead the rest of the group to?
Let me get the map back up.
And then you get to decide, do you really impress that one Froglin or do you add a hope to the table?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he impresses him. Remember.
Yeah. No.
Hey, you never know. He could come back in, a future episode.
Oh my goodness. Okay, because you did that, because you specifically did that, right? And the Froglins, as a people, are going to remain your enemies. Like, you cannot turn them into good guys by intimidating 2 guys. This one Froglin copies you all. He grabs a sheet of metal and jumps off after you and says,
Oh no!
Wait for me! All right, you all now have a Froglin follower. You have one Froglin that is your follower, right? And he is now going to be with your group going forward, which that has its own special rules. But all right, so where do you think you go? Where do you land?
Given the proximity and everything, we go to the bones of the behemoth.
Go to the bones of the behemoth, yeah, which is not necessarily a bad place. It's run down, and possibly not abandoned. All right, so you all float down from the sky with your artifacts down to the bones of the behemoth. This one little froglin following after you all, and you all have recovered your artifacts. You all have escaped the fortress. And landed in a relatively safe place. And I think we're pretty much out of time. I think we've been playing for about 3 hours and 43 minutes now, right? Math is failing me at this point. So I think let's wrap this up. Yes, John asked if we want to put a chat request for the Froglin name. Absolutely. So if John wants to toss out the Froglin name for us from the chat, we'll let the chat name their Froglin follower. Absolutely, let's do that. But we're going to go around the table. We're going to give everybody one kind of wrap up pose here. Like you land. What is your character doing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? This is kind of your closing moment of the character. Then we have one small bookkeeping thing to do that happens at the end of a session, so you can see how that does. And then we're gonna say goodbye and pimp our websites and stuff. So whoever wants to start can jump in there. Like, what is the last thing the camera sees of you in this return to Eidolon?
I think I have Lainey's last session appearance. Like, she lands in these bones, probably one of the first, because she's, doing that whole control thing, her sky surfing. She's just gonna kind of take a look around and wonder what the heck happened. This is that moment where, like, this really hits her. She's back. And while she's incredibly grateful to have her artifact, things are definitely not as they left them. And it's like, it's hitting her. Oh, I'm... this kind of sucks. But she's determined to make it right. Especially since we have our little friend, Harold?
Harold is what the chat has named him.
Yeah.
Your little friend, Harold. Yes.
He's going to end up with, like, a really long title by the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, were you done with your...
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I like the determination. So, Marianne's sort of Lance. Maybe not sure-footedly, but Lance. And, like, all right. This is actually a little better than I thought it was going to be, because I'm determined, too. There's a big mess here, and if I know something, it's about fixing things and cleaning up messes. So, you know what? I got my amulet in one hand, and I got my fruit snacks in another. And I'm ready to go, because I'm going to leave this place a lot nicer than we found it. We're going to do it this time. It's going to be good.
You and the fruit snacks.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Who's next?
So as Nathan is, as he leaps, he has that sort of, there's an initial moment of panic as he doesn't think his parachute is working, but snaps open and he lands lightly on his feet, drops it, watches the Herald land, and as they're doing introductions, and Harold, says, "Oh, I'm Harold." And he says, "You know what? You can call me Nate."
I like it. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. And that leaves us with Victor.
Victor manages to land without beefing it too hard. His head jerks up when he hears fruit snacks, and he's like, "Gimme, gimme, gimme, gimme." And then he just sort of looks around and whispers to himself, "We'll get it right this time. Then I can die."
Yeah. There's fruit snacks in the equation, so Harold lands just in a heap of frog limbs, right, everywhere. Jumps up, and he's also gimme for the fruit snacks, sitting there munching on them. Looks around at you all, and he's like, "Wow, can't believe it. Like, we heard stories, but you're actually back. You guys are so screwed." And that's where we're going to end it. I am going to ask each of you to roll 1 dice, because at the end of a milestone, and this is a mini milestone, everybody either gets to mark reflection or clear 1 stress. All right, so your call. Doesn't really matter. Like, you can just do it if you want to. And then you roll a number of die equal to the hope that is left on the table. So I'm going to have you each roll 1 die, and we're going to add those numbers together, and that's going to tell us what changes in the realm to make it better. Because I have 1 threat on the table, I will also have someone roll 1 die to see how the realm gets worse. So if everybody can roll 1 die for me, and we will shout out that number, and we will add them together.
Got a 4. Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4. An 8. An 8 on 4 die. Oh, wow. Okay.
I was using my good die. This one goes back in the dice trail.
All right. Well, it's kind of already happened, but you're gonna get to do it too. A brave young individual offers to be your bodyguard / guide. Who are they? Gain a new NPC follower for the company. So Harold has a friend, evidently.
Oh, I have a suggestion.
Go for it.
He grabbed his buddy from the island, the one that got knocked out just by sheer overwhelm.
Yeah.
That one, if nobody objects, is Pierre. Because I like the name Pierre for a froglin.
Yeah, Harold and Pierre. Yes.
He wakes up as they're landing. It's like, "You're back."
Yes. And he grabs at his throat and says, I have something for you. Oh no. I lost it. All right. I need 1 person to roll a die, not Kori. Because someone else roll a die for me.
Not me.
All right. Anybody, toss me a number up there.
All right, fine, I'll do it.
No, nobody's going to roll the bad die. Nobody's going to roll the bad die. Nobody wants that responsibility.
5.
A 5. Each of you has lost something they thought they had been keeping safe. Not your artifact. You cannot lose those. They are bonded to you. What is it that you have lost that you thought you were keeping safe?
Well, I took those 3 books, so one of them fell out of the backpack on the way down?
Absolutely. That one had all of the evil guy's plans. It was his diary.
I would say the cell phone that I tried to keep in the Ziploc bag, even though I wouldn't have cell service, it's got all kinds of it's got a calculator app and
Right. Yeah.
notes in it, and
Yep, it's gone.
This one's going to be a hard one for me to answer because theoretically, Lainey arrived with nothing but a hope and a prayer.
Yeah, and the clothes on your back.
Yeah. So can't lose the artifact. Don't want to lose the artifact even.
Shoes.
I guess. Yeah, she loses her shoes or her jacket. Something that's just inconvenient enough. God dang it.
Yep.
Stupid
All
clothes.
Right. And Victor. What did Victor lose?
Victor loses his compass.
Oh.
It is a big deal to him because it's what he uses to navigate. And it's gone.
It's gone. All right. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you all so much for playing Vale of the Failed and the Fallen. Just a glimpse on how this campaign would progress. There is one artifact you all didn't grab because I just totally forgot. The Fallen Companions artifact. We'll say Pierre had that in his pocket. Whatever it happened to be, the tower. It's a bracer. We'll say it was just a small magical bracer, right? So from this point on in the campaign, each player would serve as the keeper of the memory for a milestone. And there are specific milestones in the book, things that you are specifically doing your missions to make the realm better. The players choose what missions they are going to do, right? One person becomes the keeper of memory. They hold on to the Fallen Companions artifact for that milestone. So they get the power from it. They also get an extra bane, which I can trigger against them. And there are certain milestones that you have to do in a season, which is everybody taking one milestone before you can face off against the Vassal of Evil in a big battle and a showdown at the end. And for a smaller group like this, you may want to go 2 seasons so you hit everything. But it's a number of episodes equal to the number of players as a season, right? You can fail milestones. You can have setbacks. You can do what we didn't do tonight was the around the campfire scene, which every milestone starts with an around the campfire scene, which allows you all to sort of flash back and tell stories of what happened before. You'll use those to heal yourself. You'll use those to make the realm better. You'll use those to clear your banes. So you're recovering from your actual emotional baggage and damage that way. So that's kind of what it looks like from here on out. So thank you all so much. This was so much fun. I guess I should start because I'm the one talking right now. My name is Robert Turk. I create role-playing games. You can find all my stuff at wicked-clever.com. And then we'll go whoever wants to jump in next.
All right. I'm Kori. You can find me here playing occasionally and doing podcasts with Rook and Rasp. You can find me at the Midnight Alley podcast every now and then on YouTube. You can also find me at Little Loudmouth. Bear in mind that it's still in beta act. My upcoming game, Redbuds in Spring, Redbud Engine.
All right.
Yeah, I am Autumn Ingenue, and I am the Dungeon Mistress with the Mostest over at Nat 21 Adventures. And we had the awesome privilege of getting to do a very, very short campaign recently and had so much fun, and I basically begged to come back and do it again. So thank you guys for having me. But yeah, if you want to check out, I'm currently running The Underworld, which is an original campaign, and that is over at Nat 21 NAT 21 Adventures over on Twitch.
Nice.
Thank you. Awesome. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, hey, I'm Jamin. I don't have a website or a podcast or anything. I found this, so I'm a a GM for some friends, and found out about Rook and Rasp from the Smuggler's Blues Star Wars Real Play podcast, and got a chance to finally play a game, which was awesome. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for
here.
joining us. Yeah.
I hope it was a fun experience.
And Tier.
First off, thank you so much for running this. This was awesome. I had a great time. But to all you out there, I am Tier the DM. I'm the world's okayest DM. I have the t-shirt to prove it. And you can find me over on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. at Will of the Dice on Twitch, where we're running 2 campaigns based out of my homebrewed world, Runas Kesha.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you so much. If you're not on the Risk and Rast Discord, by all means, jump on there. That's how you can find out games that are playing, and just it's a really cool Discord. Like there's stuff happening and people hanging out and talking. There he goes. There's Discord now on the Twitch chat, so I don't have to talk about it anymore. Thank you all so much for playing. This was so much fun. This is coming to Kickstarter in early 2025. If you want to follow along, wicked-clever.com, sign up for the mailing list, all that stuff. You all are awesome. Thank you so much. I don't have a button to press or anything, so I'm just going to wave.
One last mention before we get off the air. Next month we have Die Laughing from Nerdberg. So please stick with us for next month's Let's Play games. Y'all have a good night, everyone.